Sure to wear some flowers in your hair all across the nation. All right, how we looking, folks? Hopefully we're looking good. People in motion. All right. Okay, let's see if this thing's working. Make sure we got everybody here. What's up, Ken Paul? What's happening, guys? All right, so for those that don't know, first of all, how's my audio? Is the audio good? We sounding good here? Hopefully we are. We'll start with the four parts of this. Okay, loud and clear. Audio sounds good. Okay, so for those that don't know, I'm gonna be watching the Kanye, the full thing of Kanye, Alex Jones, Nick Fuentes interview, and I'm telling you, the things that I've seen so far, no, you cannot defend Kanye's stance on this. There is no way to justify what Kanye says. Kanye, I'm telling you, we're gonna try and get through the full interview. It's a little lengthy. This is classic entertainment, though. I will give you this. This is better than reality television. Kanye is off his rocker. Kanye is off his rocker. I don't care what anybody says. It's the truth. And look, if you don't believe me, that's fine. You can just listen to this interview. I'm going to be doing labels because we're catching up on orders from Shell Shock. So I'm going to be creating labels here while listening to this, listening to y'all's conversations, or listening and reading your comments. Feel free to tweet me out. Feel free to follow me. I took a little bit of Delta 8 to try and kind of ease all my congestion, shit like that, because it fucking hurts. All right. Cool. Looks like everything is going good. Let me post to Facebook real quick, and we are going to get this thing started. And guys, I'm just going to warn you right now, there is a lot. There is a lot to unpack on this. Kanye is all over the place. It's called gishgalopping or whatever the fuck. I think it's where you're making point after point after point after point, or you're attempting to, and you don't have time to kind of like, okay, well, let me address this point, and then I got to move to that. You make too many points in a row, whether they be right or wrong, and you don't give the other person the time and opportunity to address each one. Kanye is all over the place on this. There's no justifying this. So without further ado, I'm honestly surprised that I'm still live on YouTube. But anyway, YouTube, come over to Rumble. Eventually, they're going to ban me on YouTube, this last account, and this is all we got left. All right, let's get into this.
InfoWars, the most banned network in the world.
It's Thursday, December 1st,
How's that audio?
2022. I'm
Is
your
the audio
host,
good?
Alex Jones, and in studio, Ye is our guest. He's going to be here, he says, for the next 3 hours or so, and also America First leader, and that is Nick Fuentes, Ollie Alexander, Owen Schroyer, and many others are also going to be coming through here today. And
Good audio. Okay, cool.
Ye has arrived in a new ensemble here with us, but I'll assure you it is Ye. Ye, thank you so much for coming to Austin.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, where would you like to start? This first little 5-minute segment is just kind of a prelude to what's coming up. What do you want to cover here today?
Just God runs the world, and Jesus is the way and the life. And it's time to put
That's Kanye.
Jesus first in the way that we run our businesses, the way we run our families, our businesses, and the way we run our country.
For radio listeners, we're on over 400 radio stations. They can't see you right now. This is a new look for you.
Oh no, I've been wearing a mask for a while.
No, you haven't.
Yeah.
So this is an archetypal example that the mask is off by putting the mask on.
People can take it how they want to take it. It's just, it's interesting if you look at.
Look, I gotta hold on real quick on this one. Throughout this interview, I saw more of the second half than I have the first. Watch how Nick Fuentes, watch how Alex Jones tiptoe around Kanye because they don't want to say the wrong thing and risk Kanye storming off. Watch how Kanye bosses people around and just listen to him. This guy, he's not all there. I don't like gaslighting. You know, when Alex Jones, or Ben Shapiro's like, he needs to be committed, institutionalized, yada, yada, yada. Possibly. See it for yourself, but listen to what Kanye is saying and how he's saying it because it's crazy.
A Michael Jordan or something, you would load up all these pictures and he's smiling and he's holding a basketball, he's jumping from the free throw line, and then you look at Phil Knight and you barely can see a picture of him and he's got his face covered. So I don't have to show my face, it's me. That's my right.
Absolutely. Well, that's what Hollywood wants to do, though, is to control everybody through images.
Nice deflection, Jones.
Exactly. So I'm in
You're
control
tiptoeing
of my
around
image
versus
now.
just saying this guy's fucking crazy.
It's no longer the people that froze my account. It's no longer the people that threatened me. We've got past the threats. They tried to throw me in jail for the truth. And, you know, people believe me. And people see that I wasn't crazy on what I was talking about. And they tried to write it off, and they keep trying to write it off. But the truth is, the more and more I'm faithful to Christ, the more and more he's going to keep unlocking the blessings. You know, he set it on my heart to build communities, to build farms, to build schools, to build the choir. But when you do that, you have to be really obedient. Hey guys, could you not talk in the back? I'm like really hypersensitive to sound. If you guys want to talk, just go in the other room, please. But we have to be really obedient. You know, like one of the big topics right now is all of the pedophilia advertisement. And my take on that is, you know, there's one place in the Bible where it says God sees sin differently, and there's another place where it says, you know, let me get out my phone. I can like really pull up the exact thing it says in the Bible. The general gist, and we'll get back to it after the 5-minute break, is that you have to stay strict to everything and remove as much sin as possible in order to serve God. And when people look at pornography, when a grown man is looking at a grown woman have sex on camera, you're still looking at someone's daughter, and you're looking at a lot of times someone that is the product of pedophilia. So people will engage
He's not wrong.
in going to strip clubs or looking at pornography, but then the moral compass is like, oh my God, look at the pedophiles. But in a way, anybody who looks at pornography is a form of a pedophile also.
No.
Let's bank it all in.
No.
It's very simple. We're not going to be talking about all this moral code and these standards right here. It's either Christ said so or Christ said no.
Yay, pal.
Okay, so right there, no. No. Pornography, yeah, you can say a lot of pornography. You can say a lot of porn stars have sexual abuse in their past. This has been proven, and we all know this to be true. But no, looking at child porn is pedophilia. Looking at grown adult porn is not pedophilia. You don't get to lump it all in together just because you feel like every single porn star has been abused as a child. That's incorrect. That's what he's doing right here. Now, you're going to listen to Kanye, and he leads in with Christian and everything. Fuentes is he's gonna piggyback off of him, and these two are off the rockers. Now look, I believe in the right to religion, I believe in everything like that, but when they say things like we need to run this country according to religion, yada yada yada, no, church and state should be separate. But the idea that pedophilia, like watching porn, is also consuming pedophilia, no, that's incorrect. I get where he's coming from, but again, this is what Kanye does. He makes 2 points that are very close, but they're not the same. Sorry, that's ridiculous. So let's keep going.
Powerful information. I totally agree with you. Back in 60 seconds.
No, I don't agree with him. Alex isn't going to disagree with him.
Fuentes in studio. Everybody, tell everybody you know, tune in now. Infowars.com/show. Let's break the internet today. Stay with us. Well, make no mistake, this Thursday, December 1st, 2022 broadcast is beyond the Twilight Zone because truth is stranger than fiction. Yay. Maybe more controversial than Alex Jones or Donald Trump now. I mean, we're about the most controversial people in the world, and obviously the most attacked and demonized. He's here. Nick Fuentes is here as well. America First. We're going to have Ali Alexander on, Owen Schroyer. This thing's going to go for the next 3+ hours as long as Ye wants to go. Some stations don't carry the first 5, but you just dropped some bombs that I totally agree that are huge, Ye. So recap that and continue on, sir.
Okay, so I looked this up. It's about sin. That's what we're going to talk about, sin today, and how we need to do everything that we can. We're imperfect, but to free ourselves of sin and repent for sin throughout the day, at night, and in the morning. So right here, the Bible says right here, I know I'm going to do a Corinthians 2, like Trump, new Christian kind of reading of this. So bear with me. I love Jesus, but I'm not the most, experienced Christian. And it says, the book of Proverbs 6:16-19. I'm sure that's the wrong way to read it.
It's okay. You got the floor.
Okay. Identify 7 things that God hates, although there are not any punishments prescribed for those. Scripture clearly indicates that God does view sin differently, and that he proscribed a different punishment for sin depending upon its severity. Now watch this one. It says, where the phrase all sins are equal in the eyes of God comes from. As far as I can tell, the most common argument for the belief that all sins are created equal comes from the book of James 2:10. It states, for whoever keeps the whole law and yet stumbles at just one point is guilty of breaking all of it. Now, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs, even though he did create Apple. And if you notice, the logo of Apple is actually the fall of man. The
forbidden fruit.
The bitten apple, right? So we can get into, what social media has done to families and all that. We got 3 hours, right? But I like the way our incredible American inventors like Disney and Hughes and Steve Jobs, the way they ran their companies and invented things that changed the world. And the way Steve ran his company was his version of a sinless office. Everyone had to be so meticulous to be able to take what was 10 things at one time and make it and put it in the palm of our hand. Think about an iPhone. It's your fax. It's your email. It's your phone.
And now it's 1,000 things.
Yeah, it's your camera. It's your flashlight. Yeah, it's like 1,000 things in it. But he had to have his army go in with a sinless approach. And right now, God called Gideon to make an army, the 300, the real 300, not the movie version, that were all focused on serving this mission at the time. So we have a mission right now to save our families from social media, from Zionist control, and bring Jesus Christ back to the forefront. And we're protected. I don't have security. My security is the angels. My security is the fact that I didn't load up pornography last night. And I said, this addiction is going to have to flee from me. This addiction since I was 5 years old that has destroyed my mom and my dad's family, that destroyed my family. Like, when I take full accountability for the destruction, of my marriage, I'll point at the liberals and say, you took my wife from me. You know what took my wife from me? The fact that I was married to this beautiful person, but I felt like it wasn't enough. I felt like I still needed to look at pornography. In some way, I'd say to her, well, stop making these images, stop breaking the internet. That original term comes from my ex-wife actually having a nude photo that I didn't know about, that someone used her and put her on a magazine. But there's somewhere where she's like, well, if my husband is looking at this, I still want to be like the girls that are doing this. And this becomes people reliving the traumas, pushing the addiction. The pornography industry is not even a big industry. It's like less than $10 billion, right? So that means that it's not used for prosperity, it's used for disparity.
By the way, George Orwell wrote in 1984, and he'd been the #2 guy in PSYOPs for OSS. And
No, hold on, dude. Wait a second. You're telling me that before you married Kim Kardashian, you didn't know what she was? You'd already seen the porns. You'd already seen what she did. What are you talking about? Alex Jones is not being authentic here. And he's not going to disagree with Kanye because, again, we've already seen Kanye. He walks out. So essentially you have to give Kanye the floor. You have to handle this guy with kid gloves. It's ridiculous. And this guy's going to run in 2024. He's going to get wrecked. He's going to get wrecked. And it's going to be sad to see. I don't think he's going to run, though. But to sit there and say that I didn't know about that picture, dude, come on. Come on. That's bullshit.
and ran propaganda for the British government, but he found out that he didn't like Hitler, but he found out that they were actually manipulated and created him. He didn't like the communists. He'd been one of them. He found out the British intelligence had actually created that and done that. And he explained in 1984 that pornography is something to destroy families, destroy our souls, and get us to commit. He wasn't even a big Christian, but get us to debase ourselves so that they could control us.
Absolutely. You got alcohol and pornography are these legal drugs. Alcohol is a spirit. We're gonna go into the spirit of alcohol. Let's just go to the facts today. Let's not just even do opinions. And I love how you brought that in, because now you got God's warriors coming together. Right now, okay, Nick Fuentes doesn't have a Twitter account. Alex Jones doesn't have a Twitter account. But hey, guess what, Elon? I got a Twitter. And today I'm gonna have Nick and Alex tweet from my account. You like that, Ari Emanuel?
I'm all about free speech. And the greatest threat is those that want to silence us. This is why it comes First Amendment. Yeah. Anybody trying to take your speech is the enemy.
I love how Alex tries to bring it back into reality.
Well, and it's I do find it a little bit hypocritical that Elon Musk said that he was purchasing Twitter to create a free speech environment. He says that free speech is the thing that's going to save the West and our civilization. But yet he has taken exception to you, Alex, for some seemingly specific reason, maybe personal to him, but definitely not principled. So I think it's time that the people finally demand a real victory here. We've been at war, essentially, since Trump came down the golden escalator 7 years ago to put America first, to put Christ first, to free the internet and do these kinds of things. And here we are all this time later, and it seems like we've stagnated, or in some ways maybe even taken a step back. So it's time that people demand, we want Christ first, we want America first, we want Alex Jones back on Twitter. These are just and reasonable demands.
Well, I see it like this, and I want you to be able to elaborate on this, but I don't want Ye to get his run, because he's got so much to say, and he always gets cut off. But so I'm going to try to shut up as much, but we can go 4 or 5 hours if you want, but the main show's actually 4 hours long. I was just hoping for 3. We'll do 4 hours if you guys are up for it. But here's what I'm saying. I am a classical liberal at heart, so I love everybody, and I judge people by what they do, not what color they are. And then I look at the things you've said, and some of them out of context I don't agree with, but compared to a liberal, a modern liberal saying white people are inherently evil and white people are bad because of their skin color, and then that's what the ADL and Southern Poverty Law Center...
No. Hold on. Wait. He literally just admitted. He said, I've seen the things that you've said, and they out of context, fair enough. And I've also watched Nick Fuentes in context. And then Alex Jones defends that by saying, but you can also look at no, that's whataboutism. No, that doesn't justify either. Both can be inherently wrong of their own accord. They're not mutually inclusive. What are you doing here? Like this, again, this is why I don't respect people like Alex Jones. This is why I don't respect people like Nick Fuentes. This is ridiculous. This is fucking ridiculous. Alex Jones, he's playing host here. And it's just, this is all over the place, man. This is so intellectually dishonest. Keep going.
And these leftist groups in Hollywood have pushed. So they're putting out something beyond even what Hitler said, but reversing it onto white people. And we're supposed to sit there and accept it. And then Ye comes out and says, hey, I see kind of a mafia running things, and then he's the devil. No, that's bullshit. Sorry.
All right, we're going to curse a little bit less on this subject.
Yes, Reverend. I'm going to try. I'll stop.
And the reason I wanted Nick, people have heard from Nick, but people haven't heard from Nick with Ye standing right next to him. You know, it's like that's the thing that the Zionists control, the 300 in control of the media, in control of the governments. They don't want us to connect to each other. Like my dad said, okay, they say you're an anti-Semitic, but they say he's a white supremacist. And he's asking me, well, what's the difference? I said, Dad, there is no difference. It's just separation and confusion. They want to separate and confuse the Christians and make us afraid to stand next to each other. A Christian can stand next to anyone. We can go visit R. Kelly in prison. We can go talk to Harvey Weinstein.
That's what Jesus did.
Yes, because Jesus can save everyone. But if the Zionists can get us so afraid that they're going to do what they've been doing to me, attempting to put me in jail, freeze my accounts, smearing me on the media, you know, all of these things, you know, you put on the whole armor of God and they will not be able to break your spirit.
And by the way, we can do 3 hours on this subject, and you do 5 hours on it. And let's just get it all going now, because I want to get into everything about your plans to try to bring jobs to America, unifying people, running for president, all those other issues. So I'm not steering us away from that. I'm just saying, let's just run with it as far as you guys want to go, and then I want to get into all the other topics that surround things.
Oh, beautiful. So where do you want to start?
Well, I mean, I would just start with this. There are good people from every group and every type of culture, and we all know that. But definitely the left, when it was America defeated Hitler, calls their opposition Hitler. When both my grandfathers almost died in the Army Air Corps, both of them almost died. One of them crash landed after a mission and got all broke up. The other one got hit in a German air raid in North Africa, and he'd only done like 18 of his missions, and then he had a concussion, and he was the captain, and then his buddies went up the next day and blew up over Italy. And he was always freaked out about it. Never really talked about it until he died, but when he died, we read the letters and all the awards he had and stuff, and the things he did after that, and then, re-upping and recommitting to the Army Air Corps. So I take it as an offense to have George Soros and people that actually work for Hitler rounding up people, tell me I'm a Nazi when I almost don't exist when my grandfathers went over there. So I got a lot to say about this as well. It's just nuanced with the whole thing that's going on. But expanding on that, give us, because I want you to go wherever you want. So let's just have you talk for 10, 15 minutes more before me and
we
got
a
lot to hear from Fuentes, and he needs to be heard, but we want to hear from Ye. Go ahead.
Well, I said with Ali Alexander and Nick Fuentes that we're like the SWAT team of free thought, and I go in with this battle ram at the door, and then they come in with these laser beams and have that information. And we work together as a team. A lot of times in media, they want to single out one person and burn them to the core. That is a Zionist approach. And they're asking me to use that same approach. Well, hey, don't say all people, just say specifically the businessmen. And then I go on Lex Fridman and I say who it specifically, and that's still not enough. They're still taking it too far. Everyone knows and agrees now that it's like a reverse version of American History X, the scene when they put the guy's head against the curve and kick the back of it. And now people are like, wait a second, the so-called crime doesn't deserve the punishment. What did I thought?
Well, that's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Listen.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also. I love everyone, and Jewish people are not going to tell me you can love, us. And you can love what we're doing to you with the contracts. And you can love what we're pushing with the pornography. But this guy that invented highways, invented the very microphone that I use as a musician, you can't say out loud that this person ever did anything good. And I'm done with that. I'm done with the classifications. Every human being has something of value that they brought to the table, especially Hitler. How about that one? Ari Emanuel, how you like that one? Hey, Ron, you gonna do anything to fix Chicago?
Well, I am worried about the thousands of black folks down in a month in Chicago, but let me expand on that, because that's a nuanced issue. Yeah. My grandfather grew up in Dallas and from a pretty wealthy family.
Also, Hitler was born Christian.
Oh, I've actually studied some of the history on it, but it's very interesting. My grandfather, grew up, and actually some of his family spoke some German. There's a lot of Germans in Texas. But did you know that he grew up next door to the inventor of air conditioning and the inventor of one of the major inventors of refrigeration? And so my issue was, growing up, my grandfather told me the stories about some of the inside baseball and the things that went on. But later, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to tell you some stuff about Hitler that you might not know directly that happened to my people I knew.
I'd love to hear everything, because guess what? We don't get to hear. It's hidden. Even like our truth, the fact that African Americans were in America before the Pilgrims, that truth is hidden. That we are actually the Native Americans, or some of us are Native. Or the fact that what Kyrie got in trouble is pointing out that we're Jewish slave boats. And then,
look at Australia.
Yeah.
They've done some of the genetic typing of the Aborigines there, and they're basically Africans.
There you go. So all of these truths, and then the current truths about banking, about the government. My favorite thing that I got to say with Tim Pool was Rahm Emanuel was right there next to Obama. Jared Kushner was right there next to Trump. What are those two people, those two Zionists, I gave it away, have in common? Nick, can you pick that up and expound on that?
Absolutely, yeah. You know, and it's interesting because you've been going on these interviews with Lex Friedman and with Tim Pool and Piers Morgan, and they always say, well, don't talk about a group, talk about the individuals. And I would point out, one, it's hypocritical because in the same interview, Tim Pool said, well, wouldn't Ye be so great for the black vote? You can say the black vote, but you talk about Jewish businessmen, and somehow that's a problem. You can't talk about groups when it's...
No, hold on. Okay, hold on. Wait a minute. That is such a slippery slope right there. One is based upon a stereotype. One is based upon the fact that people tend to resonate more in line with people of their same color that have the same experiences with them. What? That is such a slippery grift right there. Like, I'm not sitting there. I guess this is coming from the idea that you can't criticize Jewish nepotism, which I think was at the core of what this interview was supposed to be about. Okay? But to sit there and say that white vote, black vote, that's not offensive. But to sit there and like say that everybody in the Jewish community, okay, let's keep going.
One, but not the other. The other thing is that there is something baked into the cake in Judaism which affects how they're brokering these kinds of contracts with entertainers like Ye. If you look at the Talmud, which is a real Jewish holy book or part of the holy book, there's the written Torah, which is the Hebrew Bible. There's the oral Torah, which was written down as the Mishnah and then interpreted in the Talmud. In the Talmud, it says that Jews have to treat Gentiles differently than they treat other Jews. There's all kinds of examples of this. They say that if a Jew indirectly kills a Gentile, there's nothing even wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with that. They say that for a Jew to have sex with a Gentile is comparable to bestiality. They say that the semen of a Gentile is like that of horses. They also say that you can't give a gift to a Gentile. A Jew is not permitted under the Talmud to give a gift to a Gentile. They're not permitted to charge each other interest, but they're encouraged to charge Gentiles interest.
What do they say about pedophilia?
They say that that's, in some cases, licit.
Well, I mean, here's...
So you're telling me in their holy book, it says it's okay to be pedophiles as long as it's not another Jewish person.
That's something that came from Adam. I'm not 100% sure.
Well, let me just get this. Let me just get this out front. I believe in free speech, and that's why I want you to be here and be able to say whatever you want. I'm quite the historian from a lot of multifaceted views. So at a certain point, I'm going to give my nuanced views of this, because there are power structures, and there are mafias, and there are cliques, and there are groups, and there is certainly leftist Jews that call everybody Nazis they don't agree with. If you don't want open borders, or you don't want your guns taken, or you don't want to take a shot. The ADL had a meeting 2 weeks ago and said, Alex Jones is an agent of evil. He should be taken off the air. He's the devil because he doesn't want you to take 4 shots. And I'm like, what are you doing calling me anti-Semitic? I'm not against groups. I don't get into group politics.
Adam, sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Alex.
Yes, sir.
I've got the perfect answer for the ADL. They are going to have to listen up. What we did is we brought Netanyahu with us.
Oh, here we go. This is where it gets really cringe.
I mean, I'm in the twilight zone right now.
Netanyahu, what do you have to say? What do you have to say to Alex Jones right now, Nick Fuentes and Ye? It was bad. It was bad for Trump to meet with Nick and Ye. Okay. I had no idea your voice is going to sound like that, Netanyahu.
So you don't like Benjamin Netanyahu?
I just heard about this guy 2 weeks ago since like the tweet, and I thought he had a funny name. I heard he's like really into like,
so you know anything
like
about
a
him.
Super killer, and I could die for saying this. So in case this the last time you ever hear from me.
Well, look.
This guy's an idiot.
I'm glad you guys are here, and we can sit here and upset. All I'm telling you is, do you guys realize that the British government created Hitler, and the Milner Group put him in power, and there's something much more sophisticated. And I personally think that most Jews are great people, and I understand there's a Jewish mafia, and they're used to demonize anybody that promotes freedom, but I don't blame Jews in general for that. And there is a much larger eugenics, transhumanist, scientific elite agenda that's playing off.
What about abortion? It's 50% of black deaths. There's over 50.
Hey, one of the papers I had, you're like, why is all? You're the director today. It's fine. The Margaret Sanger, Rockefeller-founded Planned Parenthood came out today and said, because of your white guilt, white people need to give money so we can kill black babies. I swear to God, it's in my stack. If I hadn't moved it off the desk, I could pull it right up for you.
Why did I have you move it off the desk, Alex?
Because it's cluttered. I'm not bitching. I'm just saying, everybody asks, where's my papers? I don't have them there as a prop. I can literally go, look, I agree with you. Look at this. They say white people help us kill black people for your white guilt. It actually says that. Now, I'm agreeing with you.
Is it a problem with props? We can't. This is the voice of Netanyahu.
Well, see, you get your mop. I'm going to find the tweet here. See, because I want to show you this. This is a big, guys. I sent it to you this morning. It was in the tweets. You pull it up. It's official Twitter of the eugenics death cult. Talk about Nazis. I mean,
we're going to have Netanyahu step out for a second, okay, Alex?
Oh, he's going to go?
I'm leaving for now until it's another meeting, and then I'm going to say something. All right.
You're not only an artist, you're a comedian. But Nick,
this is ridiculous, dude.
Is that
notice how Fuentes, notice how Jones, there's so much awkwardness in the room, it's palpable. Okay? They are watching this guy have a meltdown. They're watching this guy on probably the most important interview of this guy's life. And you want to sit there and you want to use this net. Like, this is stupid. I get it. But, like, dude, if you're going to have a serious conversation about something that you have said that is, I'm sorry. This is who people think is going to run for president. This guy's a fucking moron. He is being puppeteered by the likes of Milo, by the likes of Fuentes. I feel like Kanye is searching for something. He is searching for a cause. He's searching for a passion. Maybe his heart's in the right place, but I feel like he is sitting there and he's being puppeteered by these people. And Alex Jones right now is sitting there trying to kind of like corral this and steer it in a certain direction. And you're like, oh my God, like this is just funny to me. But the reason that this interview is so important right now is because people are using this to determine whether or not Kanye is anti-Semitic or not. This, in my opinion, was kind of like, if you're going to go on Alex Jones, showcase your proof, okay? Prove your points. Show the world that what you're saying is not anti-Semitic. Make your points known to people, because at least Alex Jones is going to give you a fair shake, and he's not doing that. I mean, he's trying to, but not really. You can't take people seriously when they do something like this. Watch Alex Jones just tap dance.
It was it doesn't matter. There's fluoride in the water killing us all. They're injecting us with GMO. Oh, here's the question, and I'm not an apologist for Israel. I'm trying to be balanced here, and I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in free speech. I endorse you, say whatever you want. Israel has, other than like Singapore and a few places, the most draconian mRNA injections in the world. They have the highest death rate from the shots. They are literally forcibly injecting them like Joseph Mengele, and Jews are dying in mass in Israel. So if the Jews are the secret group that runs it all, and I'm not denying that Jews run Hollywood, what I'm saying is...
It's the Zionist.
Yeah, but okay, well, why would the Zionist be killing Jews in mass in Israel with the poison shot?
Because they work for Satan. They don't work for God.
Exactly.
That's
so
not an explanation.
They create atmospheres that get Jews persecuted so they can control the Jews so they can kill them. And you just did it. Just like George Soros helped round up Jews for Hitler, that's the next level. Boom, we just got there.
And they control the left and the right. They make politics super messy. Like, I went in to meet with my boy
What
Trump,
Jews? What Jews?
And the next thing you know, like he typed, he said, fake news went crazy. And I love Trump like every other good Christian American. We just want to hold Trump to Christian values and say that's the only way to the White House. And if he doesn't do it, then I'm going to have to do it. I think that Trump is a more senior president. I think I've got some growing to do, but I love Jesus. It's kind of like David. All of his brothers had all this battle experience, and he was tending to the sheep. But while he was out there, he had to fight bears and tigers. This is the little I know as a baby Christian.
It's true.
Yeah, but he was able to beat that giant. And right now, this giant, there's some cleaning, there's some plumbing that we have to do. And that's what I'm doing with my style of art, my style of humor, and who I am as a celebrity, to say, okay, I've been messed over enough by Jewish businessmen to get to the point to say, I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm not the first person that got debanked because of their political opinion. And I represent now the common man. If we go, when we go, I don't like the word if. When.
Hold on. We talked about this in the podcast the other day. The reason Kanye got deplatformed is because of what he said. It wasn't just Jewish business owners. Now, I'm not saying that there is not Jewish nepotism. I'm still waiting on names. I'm still waiting for Kanye to come out and say, this is who it is. These are the people. They're, like Alex Jones said, there's this cabal of Zionists. Who? Give me names. If we keep screaming into the ether, it's the Jews, it's the Jews, it's the blacks, it's the Mexicans, that doesn't mean anything. And that's what comes off as anti-Semitic. You're generalizing. Who? Now, Kanye was canceled because he said stupid shit. Of course, businesses are going to drop this dude. That's cancel culture. You can't blame that on just Jewish people. Of course. My God, dude, if you were a supplement company and you sponsored Kanye and Kanye says the shit he does, they're going to drop you like a bad fucking habit. That's not Jewish people. That's everybody. But now if Kanye came back and said, hey, I've been in some contracts with some Jewish contract writers, Jewish lawyers, and they're screwing me over, can you prove it's because of the fact that you're not Jewish? And I'm not saying this doesn't exist, but when you say something like this, you've got to come with the facts. You've got to come with the names. And if you can't, well, then no wonder people are led to believe that you're anti-Semitic. You can't just say it's this group of people. Well, it's not all of them, but it's just a certain group. It's still generalizing. Whether you want to call that anti-Semitic, whether you want to call that, whatever you want to call that, it's a stupid move to make. So come with the names. Come with the names. That's all I'm saying. And if you want people on your side, because honestly, regardless of what Kanye is saying here, this is a conversation that does need to happen. Does Jewish nepotism exist? And I do believe it does. I've got a video I haven't posted yet where it's a Jewish rabbi talking about how Putin is good for the Jews in Russia and how the Jews control a lot of stuff. He literally says this. Now, is there anything wrong with that? Not really, unless they are favoriting their own above everybody else. That's nepotism. That's wrong. It'd be the same if white people do it. It'd be the same if black people do it. It'd be the same if Hispanics do it. If Jews do it, it's no different. Now, Jews do have an ethno-state, Israel. They are a race and a religion. It's the same, an ethno-state over in Israel. Excuse me, but they do have other people other than Jews that live there. But, excuse me, I just feel like, come with names, dude. That's all I'm really saying here. Come with names. Yeah, let's keep going.
We go into the White House, it's us now. It's not about specifically an icon or DeSantis.
But it's issues.
Yeah, it's about the issues in America.
Yeah, stay there. Nick Fuentes, the studio. This is uncensored, folks. We're going to come back after this break, and we're going to come back after the break and play a George Soros compilation of him on NPR. It's only a few minutes.
Don't forget about me.
Him on NPR.
He's like a child, man.
60 Minutes saying the best time of his life was rounding up and killing Jews. Ye never killed any Jews. So I want to know, how do I get the ADL to love me? Do I round up Jews in Nazi Germany? Do I get love then? Schwarzenegger said he loved Hitler. They gave him an award. I'm just saying, I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafia are doing either.
Listen here.
It was actually probably the happiest
What did he
year
say?
of my life. That year
Go
of
back.
German occupation.
We're going to come back.
Listen what he
after
says.
this break, and we're going to come back into the break and play a George Soros compilation of him on
Listen
NPR.
to what Kanye says.
Don't forget about me.
Him on NPR and him on 60 Minutes saying the best time of his life was rounding up and killing Jews. Ye never killed any Jews.
Listen to what he says.
So I want to know, how do I get the ADL to love me? Do I round up Jews in Nazi Germany? Do I get love then? Schwarzenegger said he loved Hitler. They gave him an award. I'm just saying, I don't like Nazis, and I don't like what some of the mafias are doing either.
I like Hitler.
He said, I like
It was
Hitler.
actually probably the happiest year of my life. That year of German occupation. For me, it was a very positive experience. It's a strange thing, because you see incredible suffering around you, and in fact, you are in considerable danger yourself. But you're 14 years old and you don't believe that it can actually touch you. You have a belief in yourself, your belief in your father. It's a very happy-making, exhilarating experience.
While hundreds of thousands of Hungarian Jews were being shipped off to the death camps, George Soros accompanied his phony godfather on his appointed rounds.
I don't care about all this shit. I want to get back to
that
the
wasn't
video.
Germanic. Scalise being shot. My mission here today is to offer the First Amendment, because as long as you're not carrying out violence against someone or asking people to be violent, like the left's asked people to burn down cities and attack Republicans and celebrate Rand Paul and Scalise being shot and attacked, then you have your free speech. And when the left came out in the last 10 years and really accelerated the last 5, 6, and said white people are inherently evil because of the color of their skin, and that somebody who moved here as a kid from Poland, they're supposed to pay reparations for what people did hundreds of years ago in this country. It's a divide and conquer strategy. I'm not getting into the reparations debate. I'm saying the groups pushing reparations are trying to cause division. And so I've said it, the most Nazi-like activities I've seen, and the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things too. We're gonna stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Okay, we're going to get to that.
Alex was like,
I
oh
don't want to
shit.
get digressed into this, but remember I told you a story about my grandfather growing up in the richest neighborhood in Dallas, and down the street was a famous German-American inventor. And he was a first-generation person. He'd come here when he was a little kid on a ship, and he held a bunch of the patents on refrigeration and then air conditioning. And my grandfather worked from the time he was about 8 years old, because he took him under his wing, in his little tinkering factory. Then he had factories in places like Detroit that they actually built the stuff. And my grandfather, the main reason he joined the Army Air Corps, he told me, he didn't tell me a lot about this, he just told me the story, was because he watched that man very quietly, once Hitler got power in the 30s, suck every dime out of him, or he would kill his relatives in Germany. And that guy was blonde-haired and blue-eyed, was as German as you could get, as Arnold Schwarzenegger, or as Teutonic, as Germanic. And the point was, my grandfather saw that. So I understand you're opposed to other forces, but I don't think thinking other forces in history that are lionized. That's my personal experience of what my grandfather, Clyde William Hammond, told me. Does that make sense?
It not totally to me, but it's, and I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. I'm saying like it literally doesn't totally make sense to me. I'm following it, but I was just thinking about Satan, that whether it's the Zionists or Hitler, it's not the person, it's Satan using the people that
I agree with that.
Are controlled by demonic forces. But what I'm gonna say is the Jewish media has made us feel like the Nazis and Hitler have never offered anything of value to the world. Meanwhile, there's all of these things that are happening. Planned Parenthood is New World Order population eugenics that is happening to this date. I got some jokes here from Owen Benjamin that I want to read about Ben Shapiro. Hey, Candace Owens, unplug this robot before he runs his mouth. Ben Shapiro's cardio is picking up shackles. Shapiro can tell how much change is in your pocket just from hearing a jingle.
So now... Okay, when somebody accuses you of being a racist, the last thing you should probably do is tell racist jokes. When somebody accuses you of being an anti-Semite, the last thing you should do is make anti-Semitic jokes about a very prevalent Jew in the conservative movement. I'm not saying these jokes aren't funny. Yeah, they're fucking funny. But that's not the thing you should be doing on air. But I think at this point, though, in Kanye's mind, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He feels like he's untouchable, and realistically, he probably kind of is. This guy's rich. He doesn't give a fuck. You know, everybody says like, oh, he's done. This guy's got billions of dollars. He's okay. So Kanye is basically just kind of like, I'm not going to abide by society's rules of what we can and cannot say. But anybody that was looking at this interview to try and show that Kanye is not anti-Semitic, you're not going to get it. I already looked at my Instagram page, and this one dude's like, Kanye killed it. Alex Jones helped him clarify. I don't know what you're talking about. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. But okay, whatever you say. Let's keep going. Oh, guys, before I forget, are y'all following me on Instagram? The new account is John Burke 1984. You can follow it over here. I'm not even gonna lie, I got banned today. It's John Burke 1984. Posting the Instagram link in there. Posting it over on Rumble as well. Thank you. If you could give me a thumbs up on Rumble, it helps us boost the algorithms. I do want to bring up the fact that when I don't know much about Judaic law. I don't. When Fuentes tried to go in there and talk about examples of Judaic law that he disagreed with that is kind of disgusting, we could do the same approach to Mosaic law. Mosaic law that is in the Old Testament, that everybody believes is a big part of Christianity. There's a lot of laws in there that don't fit narratives of contemporary society. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't mean it's wrong. Every single religion's got blood on its hand. Every single religion has extremism within it. It's true. And it's up to the individual to kind of sort that out. So if you're going to try to make the argument that Nick Fuentes is trying to make, that Judaism is basically satanic or whatever the case may be, now you're getting to a theological debate. That's not even on the table here. That's freedom of religion. They can believe as they want. The issue here, again, is Jewish nepotism. That's just now, if you're trying to make the case of Jewish nepotism being in their doctrine and then abiding by American law as far as discrimination, that's a conversation that I think should be had. That's the thing that kind of aggravates me. Like, those are important conversations. Like, yes, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. But we're not. Instead, we're talking about dumb shit. I feel like there's a lot of great points. Great points here. Talmud says it's okay to have intercourse with 3-year-olds. Is that true? I'm sorry. I don't feel like that's true. Do Jews actually believe? I'm sorry. I don't. Here's the thing. You have to, if you want to post a link or tweet me out. I would love to read that. I don't think that's true. Let's keep going. I feel like if that were actually practiced, if that were actually believed, everybody would be against Judaism. So I feel like Fuentes is spouting off about a lot of things that maybe people that are not Jewish don't really understand or know about, and they're going to kind of take him at his word. But to say something like that, I don't think that's true.
Shapiro is just mad that Kyrie won't sign his basketball. Back to you, Alex.
So you just told me.
Nick, you're sitting over there. You want to say something?
Yeah, well, I agree with Ye. I think that when you look at what's going on today, so much of the political landscape happens in the shadow of World War II and the Nazis and Hitler. And I think it requires a little bit of an investigation, an examination of where those values come from. You know, people talk about Nazis and Hitler, but the United States had camps as well. The United States put the Japanese in internment.
The United States injected black people with syphilis.
That's true. No,
I totally agree with you.
The United States has Instagram selling pornography to little kids, and they're selling. People are selling. It's prostitution rings. Instagram.
So is your point? Let he without sin cast the first stone.
Instagram is a prostitution ring. Like, I went 30 days off of Instagram, and it was the best part of the fast. Me getting kicked off of Instagram was the best thing that ever happened to me. Because when I go to it, it's like watching it with the They Live goggles, which is something that Owen Benjamin, you guys got to pull this up. Dave Chappelle is a hack, and he gets a lot of his jokes from Owen Benjamin. Dave Chappelle went on a Jewish platform and said, "They dropped that nigga." Dave Chappelle said, "They dropped that nigga," talking about Ye, and he called me Kanye, and I'm supposed to be his friend. Dave Chappelle does not believe in God and does not believe in Jesus. These are the kind of black leaders that the Zionists put in front of us. And meanwhile, we want to knock Herschel Walker, but Herschel Walker changed his life for Christ. And he might have had abortions, but he doesn't believe in abortion.
Well,
Wait. What? Again, this is just, there's so much there to unpack that. So because Dave Chappelle has not converted to Christianity, the Jews put him in front of us as their front man. Okay? Any proof to that? Dave Chappelle's got to be hearing that going, what the fuck? I'm sorry. I look at this and it's just like, dude, I don't understand where you're coming from at this point. And then to say that Herschel Walker has had abortions, but he doesn't believe in abortions, that's like saying, I don't believe in murder, but I murder people. What? I don't hate Jewish people, but I love Nazis. That's what he's saying. I don't like slavery, but I like slave owners. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why nobody's taking him seriously.
Matters is you. I have too. What matters is the heart.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with Ye. I think that it's time that America has a fearless, visionary leader who serves Christ, who wants to bring the future forth in engineering and theology. I think that when you look at the options
so there it is. He literally admits this. He literally admits this. He wants a theocracy. He wants a Christian-based theocracy, which goes against the Constitution. This guy is a grifter. He is a fucking grifter. And notice how Alex Jones did not cut him off. You can believe in Christ. You can believe in God. You can believe whoever it is that you want to believe in. But when you say you want a leader to come in and say, we need to be taken for, well, okay, let's go with that, Fuentes. You're a Catholic. I'm non-denominational. So which version of Christianity are we going to go with? Because those are very different sects of Christianity. Very different. Insanely different. Catholics call priests father. Christ in the New King's, the King James version says, you call no man father. You get to God, you go through me. Catholicism is completely different. Are we going Pentecost? Are we going Southern Baptist? Are we going non-denominational? We're going Lutheran? Which one are we going with here? So Fuentes doesn't know what he's talking about. This is a 24-year-old kid that's a fucking idiot. And he wants a theocracy. This is exactly what our forefathers were against. This is why the establishment of America happened, when you had Puritans coming over trying to escape religious persecution from the likes of the Nick Fuenteses. The same thing, the Church of England that was loyal to Roman Empire, or to the Pope of Rome, and they broke away, and then they were being burned at the stakes left and right, and said, you know what, we're out, deuces. That is insane to me. But I love how Nick Fuentes just sits there and he slides that in so smoothly. And unless you're actually listening, you're like, what did you just say? So you believe in a theocracy. So when it comes to my mind, no, I don't agree with you. I do not think we should have a theocracy. I think a theocracy is very bad. Church and state should remain separate. That's mind-blowing to me.
My show the other week and the news said, oh, he supports DeSantis. I said the moderate Trump.
DeSantis, nobody even knows. It's just somebody that
Kanye's full of shit.
The left are all of a sudden.
Well, let me raise that. Since you guys got into this, and we'll do hours on this.
Wait, did I cut you off, Nick? I want you to let him complete his thought. Go ahead.
So the moderate Trump versus DeSantis will not produce any outcome where America or Jesus is put first. DeSantis is mobbed up with Israel and Mossad. Donald Trump, his speech is an...
Wait. If it's wrong for Jews to put, their religion first, what makes it right for you to put Christianity first? You're literally the same side of the same corrupt coin. What do you want about? You don't like it when Jews do it, but it's okay when you do it. You're a fucking hypocrite, dude. This is exactly why church and state should remain the same, because people like this will destroy others. They will kill them.
Announcement was written by Jason Miller, who's controlled by foreign interests. If there's a Republican primary between them two and they go up against Biden or they go up against Newsom, there is exactly zero chance that we get any kind of regime that's going to deliver.
Christianity is not America's religion. Christianity is not America's religion. How is Christianity America's religion? Prove that. I'm very interested. How is Christianity our religion? I'm going on Rob Noah's show tonight, by the way. I don't get how you can say that Christianity is America's religion when it wasn't even founded in America. But if you're saying that because it was founded on those same principles are in almost every religion. You do know that, right? But also at the same token, let's go down that road. And I've had this debate multiple times. Then where do we draw the line? Because if we look at the 10 commandments, do we now want those Christian commandments as law? You can't use the Lord's name in vain. You can't have any other God except my God. Now you're delving back into a theocracy. You literally circle back on yourself. So when people say that you don't understand the complexity and the ignorance that you're espousing because it just sounds good to say, because you can make this generalized statement that makes you happy. I'm a Christian. I believe in Christ. I believe in God. I thank my God. But what you are saying, when you put it into practical application, will undermine and destroy you. You don't get it. You don't understand that. And if you sit there and you go down that rabbit hole, are you perfectly fine? Like enforcing your religion on other people? That's ridiculous to me. Now, you can base something off of Christian values. That I can agree with to an extent. But how far? And Joseph A87 says this guy hates God. No, people like you are so stupid. Or wait, I'm sorry. Are you talking about me or are you talking about Fuentes or somebody else? Let me first clarify that, because if you're going to say that I hate God, then you need to prove that before I ban you. Because all you're doing right now is projecting the fact that you don't agree with me. Oh, you're not a Christian. Okay, well, you're out of here. Bye. You're a moron. Bye. You're an idiot. To make a statement like that with no proof, simply because you disagree with me, you're an idiot. And I'm not going to tolerate that. That's ridiculous to me. I fucking hate people like that. This guy hates God. Prove that. Prove where I hate God. Does God not want us to have freedom? If we sit there and say that our rights are given to us from God, which is also freedom, and then you turn around and say that that freedom should be forced on other people, you're not really for God. What did Jesus say? What did Jesus preach? Render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and that's literally it. Let them be. Don't force your religion, because now it's not really true belief. You're just forcing them upon pain of death. Is that actual Christianity? No, it's not. In secret, you're just a bunch of theocrats. So spare me. That's ridiculous. It's a lot of Bible thumpers out there that you really don't know what you're talking about. I'm tired of having this debate.
And if I say something that's provocative towards the Mossad, is that misogynistic? Hold on, let's hear from Netton.
Oh my God, hey, this guy's an idiot.
I'm the head of the Mossad. I'm gonna kill you and take your children away from you. Thanks a lot, Netton. Back to you, Alex.
This is when nobody takes
please
you
turn
seriously.
your microphone around, sir. I mean, I'm definitely overwhelmed here right now.
That's Alex Jones like dancing around like he knows what he's got himself into.
Listen, all I'm trying to get through here is I believe every group should be able to be
switched his name to Netton. I dropped the Yahoo so we didn't have to. I was tired of picking up the Yahoo and the Netton, so for now he's just Netton. I know some people call him BB. No, some of you call him Yahoo, but we're gonna call him Netton. What you want, Netton? Hey, yay, right after this, I'm gonna say you're crazy. I'm gonna take your family away from you. We're not done with you yet. You cannot cause free thought. We have to control the history books. We have to control the banks, and we have to go and kill people. Also, we're in the pedophilia. Ha ha.
So, and in a little while, hopefully you're going to take the mask off, because is this actually yay here? Folks, is this the mask is coming off in a little while? Hopefully, we're going to be able to have a discussion about this. But I mean, seriously, you have the globalists pushing a poison shot that's already killed 20 million people that they admit doesn't work, and then you're the bad guy for criticizing a group. What I'm saying is, when the left said white people are inherently bad because they're white the last 6-7 years, they opened the gates up, so what do they expect? It's wrong, in my view, to say any group is inherently bad or has these traits or whatever. We should judge the individual. But it's wrong for the ADL to have what are very racial policies.
The ADL is played out. Nobody knows who the ADL are. Stop giving them attention. Nobody cares about the ADL. ADL,
a lot of people do.
They run all the censorship and everything.
They don't run anything. They're played out. We run the streets.
No, you don't.
Well, I'm singling out the ADL. So
that's we don't know who they are. No one in high school knew what the word anti-Semitic was until Ye made it popular.
No, I hear you. It's definitely a tiger by the tail. Nick, you want to comment here?
Yeah, I just want to jump in and say that, I don't think Ye or I are saying that any group is particularly bad or the Jews as a group are bad, but there are Jewish practices that are based on Jewish law, and there is clearly some kind of a Jewish mafia. I'll give you a perfect example. It was Ari Emanuel of WME that called for a total boycott on Ye. Ari Emanuel's two brothers are Zeke Emanuel, who is the architect of Obamacare in the Obama White House, and his other brother is Rahm Emanuel, who is the chief of staff for Obama and the mayor of Chicago. Their father, Benjamin Emanuel, was part of the Irgun, which was a Zionist terrorist group in the 1940s. The definition of anti-Semitism, according to the State Department, is if you say Jews have any allegiance to Israel, it's anti-Semitic. If you say that Jews have any kind of conspiratorial influence in America, it's anti-Semitic. So we're supposed to believe that if Rahm picks up the phone and gets on a call with Zeke and Ari, and they talk about their jobs, which are running Hollywood and running the Obama White House, a conspiracy, if we acknowledge that happens, we're called anti-Semitic. But it's the truth. It's a truth that they make those calls. And it doesn't mean that every Jewish person is in on it. There are good Jews like Darren Beatty and Laura Loomer. And, there are lots of fine
Let's have
people.
Laura Loomer call in. Also, it's like there's Jewish people that are based.
So let's pause on that. If they would have stuck down that road, this would make for a very informative interview. Because now he's actually highlighting political Jewish nepotism. Now, I don't know if Nick's right or wrong on that one. I haven't researched that myself personally. But I'm telling you, that right there, that would have made good conversation. That would have made interesting educational conversation. I'm not saying he's right or wrong because, again, I'm not even going to comment on that in regards because I don't know if it's true or not. But Fuentes is trying to actually make some points there. So when you bring Kanye on, are you seeing now how Fuentes is puppeteering Kanye? Kanye doesn't know all that stuff. Does it make sense now? Milo, they get into it later in the interview, but Milo, basically, it was a hit job on Trump. And as far as Kanye saying nobody knows who DeSantis is, Kanye's so out of it. He doesn't get it. He does not get it. And I'm telling you this right now. After this interview, all DeSantis has to do, just keep your mouth shut. Don't say anything. This right here does not look good on Trump whatsoever. Because when they start talking about the meeting, it doesn't look good. So we'll see.
Basically hiding me under their floorboards right now, under their wooden floors. It's like a reverse version of the Holocaust because there's Jewish people that saw how I was treated and they're like, this is wrong. This guy just gave an opinion. I didn't cause any harm. I didn't harm anyone.
He's not wrong.
All I said is, and I spelled it wrong because I was drinking alcohol. And we see the Bible says you can drink, but the king should not drink, right? And I shouldn't have been drinking. I shouldn't have said death con. That was a $2 billion tweet.
Freaking Paul said a glass of wine for the stomach's sake. Kanye does not know the Bible. Paul even said a glass of wine for the stomach's sake. And also, is Kanye quoting Judaic law from the Old Testament, which was fulfilled by Christ's crucifixion in the New? Because you can't go by the old school law.
I know you know about getting sued.
I hear you. So let's expand. Yeah, that's also drinking. So let's expand on this. What you say is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You didn't kill anybody. You're simply here saying this, and you're being demonized and attacked, and you're saying that is hypocritical. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. George Soros admits he went around rounding up Jews that thought they were going to be protected, stole their money, and
I love how Jones keeps going back to Soros.
My point is that that's what the left does. They hide behind black people, they hide behind Jews, they hide behind groups, and they use racial politics to control. And so I think that's the most important thing is to understand that we can all come together under Christ.
Also, they blackmail. Okay, go ahead about the Christ thing. I want to hear this.
No, we can just. I'm just saying. I mean, I don't hate anybody because of their religion or their background. And there's great people from every organization. And I think
George Soros can come to Christ. It is a possibility that he can convert and come to Christ.
Would you meet with George Soros if he wanted to meet with you?
Absolutely. I would meet with anyone. That's the whole thing. Laura, we're live. What's up? This is Laura Loomer.
I'm watching live. I saw you just said that you wanted me to call in, so I'm calling in.
Well, how does she have your number?
Well, she called me because she had some concerns about Milo running
There it
the
is.
campaign.
There it is. There it is. I was waiting for that. That solidifies Milo's role in this whole ordeal. Milo's a snake in the grass. Milo is a snake in the grass. All I can sit there and say is well done. Well done. Milo said he'll have vengeance. He just slam dunk on Trump. Because once we get further into the interview, and by the way, I'm going to be on Rob Noir's stream tonight at 8:30 p.m. CST. So I'll probably be ending this to go do that. I love Rob. Great dude. Very intelligent guy. Way more intelligent than me. So that's going to be fun. And for those asking, yeah, I'm working on putting labels on our bags for Shell Shock because right now, excuse me, we are catching up on orders. We still have about 600 orders to go out. And right now our production is trying to catch up. So I'm helping the guys by putting the labels on the bag. So I don't do counting. I'm horrible at counting because I watch stuff while I'm doing stuff and I'll miscount the gummies sometimes. So my my product or my operations manager basically, tactfully is like, you've probably stopped do the counting anymore. So trigger warning, yeah, Milo was wanting to fuck Trump over, and I didn't see a lot of this stuff. And I'm not in Milo's Telegram, but apparently Milo has been posting a lot of stuff going after Yi. That's why it makes sense now when Milo was talking about Yi for president 2024, he was trying to fluff Yi's ego to get Yi to accept him. Now Laura Loomer comes in and she does not like Milo. Are you starting to see it now? This is like the best thing since reality television, man. Yeah, North Star, I gotta take my socks off to count. But I'm just putting the labels on the Delta 8 bags. I gotta do the front and the back. So, but yeah. So there you go. It's interesting how, he said, he says, don't talk bad about Milo.
No, that's great. So here's the deal. We've got Laura Loomer's number. Can we call her on Skype or Zoom? Can we actually put her on the show? Laura, you're on via speakerphone. Can you come on via Skype or via phone right now?
Yeah, I can't do video right now, but I could do audio. I texted your producer.
Laura, we're gonna call you right now. We're putting you on here in 2
Hobo
minutes.
Chili, you're right, dude.
Milo.
Right. Oh, hold on, he just said it.
Oh, I like Milo.
Don't trash Milo. I like Milo. Don't go against the king. That's basically what he's saying. Don't go against those who I like. Kanye is being played by Milo. I think Fuentes probably realizes it. Loomer definitely realizes it. Kanye doesn't realize it. Milo is taking advantage. He's taking advantage right now. Fucking damn. What a grift. What a grift. But didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I tell y'all years ago when Kirk and Owens, when Turning Point was on the rise and Kanye came out, they jumped on him. They jumped on him to use not only his celebrity status, but the fact that he was a black celebrity to try and say, like, look, our movement is not racist. We've got a black celebrity. And what did I say back then? I remember. I said, don't strap yourself to that Kanye rocket because you're going to have to ride it all the way until it blows up. And right now, Ben Shapiro is probably on the phone with Candace Owens saying, what the fuck are you doing? I would not be surprised if Candace Owens gets booted off Daily Wire. Candace Owens attached herself to him. She attached herself. She just posted that White Lives Matter shirt. That went viral and stuff. Bro, you attach yourself to crazy, you're going to ride that all the way to the bottom. Now watch Candace Owens distance herself from Kanye. What does she tweet? Has she tweeted? Let's go look at Twitter real quick. I'm John Burke 1984 on Twitter. Y'all can tweet me out over there with your thoughts and opinions and stuff too. I appreciate all the follows and the retweets. Let's go look at Candace Owens. I don't even think I follow her. Candace. Where's old Candace Owens? Candace Owens, people. Candace Owens. All right. She's 3.2 million followers. What has she tweeted out? Nothing. Anything about Kanye? No. Talking about crypto. Talking about Balenciaga. Okay, hold on. 6 days ago, she said, regarding Ye24, I would like to state some things publicly for clarity because there is man who seems to have personal feelings for Milo Yiannopoulos who is attempting to insert me into that can only be described as a drug-induced paranoid narrative. The idea that Mercer family was at all involved in the quarterbacking of that deal is once again paranoid rantings from an individual with personal feelings for Milo Yiannopoulos, which have nothing to do with me. I have read more conspiracy theories about myself in the last 2 months than throughout the entirety of my career. None of them are true. I draw the line at the idea that I am part of some sinister plot to split the GOP. Let ye be ye, let Trump be Trump. She said, so much I want to say about Ye24. Wow, between that and Balenciagate, there's a lot going on. Strange as hell to die. Yeah. That's all you got to say? Okay. Interesting. And don't forget the fact that her husband was wanting to sell Ye Parlor. There you go.
I'll call in right now.
You didn't say yes.
Yeah, they're going to call her. They got her number.
Okay, cool. Bye.
This is crazy. Listen, all I'm trying to say is...
Milo's Jewish. I love Milo.
It doesn't mean anything.
And you got a little bit of the Hitler fetish going on.
Listen to this.
It's not a fetish.
Listen to this.
It's not a fetish. That's a term like I just love information. They have some documentaries. Apparently, Bezos is allowed to put up any documentary, but if a basketball player tweets it, he'll lose his entire career. I think
he's not wrong on that.
That's where I want to go, because you've got millions, hundreds of millions of Chinese locked down right now by, and Chinese are great people, but their government in that country is the most racist, homogenistic, or homogeneous, actually, group there is. And all I'm saying is I really care about those Chinese people under lockdown because they want to use that as a model against us. I'm just kind of not, I'm not on the whole Jew thing. It's what I'm saying. I don't care if people talk about it. I believe in free speech. I'm just really worried about the forced injections, world government, 5G, the open borders, the collapsing currencies, war with Russia. What do you think?
He's dancing away from it.
I don't have all of that information. I have the information that 2 days ago I thought I was going to be put in prison because my accounts are frozen.
No, I get it. You're in Hollywood, and the managers you see are, so I get it. From your perspective, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and I love Jesus, and I have to fight this war to make a better place for my children and for everyone else's children. I got to put myself, my accounts, my name at risk to stand in the front of this war that we have. This is InfoWars, right? So we're going to give this information on InfoWars.
By the way, I asked the crew very lovingly. I love the crew, but you guys gave me the tweet I sent you this morning of the abortion mill, New World Order, depopulation, kill the black people organization, Planned Parenthood, where they said it's white people's job to give money so we can kill black people. It actually says that. And Ye didn't want me to have it on the desk because he wanted to be able to have it all look clean and stuff, and I get that, so I'm happy for Ye. But will you guys give me that damn tweet? No. Because I love you to death, but I'm asking for an hour. I need that damn tweet. I want to show people this because it is such it is such mind control to say, white people, you've got white guilt. They actually say, you're bad because you're white. Help us kill black people. What type of freakish, crazy world is that, Ye?
Zionist.
What?
Is that too wide of a idea, or do I have to just go specifically to who does that? But it's the devil.
You do. You do.
It's the devil. We all
no. You get the cap out on the devil. I mean, yeah, but no.
Jesus Christ. And where I'm at, this position where God is, He's using me as a vessel. Everyone always knew that I was special, but now I get to be a vessel, and I feel so. You know, I'd like to go into a prayer. It's a prayer that my cousin wrote. Now, this prayer is. It's pretty long, so please don't cut me off in the middle of this prayer.
I'm not. Go ahead.
So what happened is we were doing a family prayer Zoom on Sunday, and his name is Wayne, and he tells me, he says, Kanye, he's like, bro, my name's Jay. You say a prayer. And then I said my prayer, and I felt that it was very profound. I felt like it was Jay-level bars where I said, let's remove this whole conversation of morality, and let's stick to the Bible and say either Jesus said so or Jesus said no. Hold on, I'm gonna wait till you drop this. Boom.
I'm listening.
All right, so, and I felt like that was profound. That's like a bar that made me top 5 streaming artists without an album this year. Either Jesus said so or Jesus said no, because we want to bring in our creative direction and our opinion and our moral compass. Forget the words moral compass. Is it in the Bible? What did the red letters say? What did Jesus say about it? And then we make our decisions off of that. So I said this, and then I had an idea. Let's stop hoping. Let's pray. Let's talk directly to God. Let's stop hoping for stuff.
I agree with that.
He has hope in here. And then I took it out and then I put it back in. And then so I said this prayer, and my family members, they didn't say anything. And then he said his prayer, and the whole family was like, oh, that's the best prayer I ever heard. And he's like, I know. My prayers could be intimidating. I know. They're like, did you write that down? That was the best prayer ever. And I was thinking like, bro, why you set me up? Why you set me up to say my prayer right before your prayer? But this is his prayer. I was like, yo, send me that prayer, bro. That prayer.
A lot of
was
ego
pretty,
based around
good.
a prayer.
It says, now, Nick is Catholic, so he doesn't like referring to Jesus as Yahweh God. But I am. But am I black? Am I African? Am I Semite? What is they call me anti-Semite. They said I'm a nigga in rap. They said I'm black. They told me, say it loud. I'm black and I'm proud. Okay, James Brown, you tell me who I am. But I know that I'm a child of God, and I know Jesus died for us. This is the daily prayer written by my cousin Wayne. Yahweh God, thank you for life.
Hold on. I'm going to let you finish. All right, folks, real quick. You see how Kanye is. This is how he's always been. Do you think that Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk did not see this from the beginning? Do you think they didn't see this from the beginning? Let's first start with that question. Do you think they didn't know Kanye was on medication, that Kanye is out there? Do you think they didn't know that? They did. Fully knowing that somebody is mentally unstable. They're a loose cannon. You don't know what they're going to say. And yet you still push forward. My point is, Kanye was used by Kirk and Owens. They used him. They used this guy. It's a grift. It's a massive grift.
Health and strength, faith, hope, and love, and another day to bless, protect your most holy name. I surrender all, Yahweh God, and acknowledge that all things are spiritual before they are physical. For this reason, we also declare and decree that you are the maker, master, ruler, creator, and guider of our spiritual lives. We also acknowledge our brother Jesus Yeshua and the blood he shed that gave us blood-paved pathways back to the Holy of the Holies. As we humbly come before you, your almighty throne of mercy and grace, we welcome your glory to rest heavenly upon our shoulders. Bless our crown with supernatural wisdom and understanding, Yahweh God, so that we may walk in the true knowledge of who you are and who you created us to be. Quiet our spiritual minds, Yahweh God, slow us down and put us in proper alignment and divine timing with the will and purpose you have for our lives. Open our spiritual eyes, Yahweh God, so we may better see all of the divine things of the Spirit. Open our spiritual ears, Yahweh God, so we may better hear all of the sacred things of the Spirit. Guard our spiritual mouth, Yahweh God. Place a censor over our divine tongues, so we may only speak words that glorify and edify you. Soften our spiritual heart, Yahweh God, so we may walk into deeper communion, communication, commitment, intimacy, understanding, and a relationship with all of the divine things of the Spirit. Yahweh God, we recognize that we do not battle against flesh and blood, but against spirits and powers, principalities and rulers of spiritual wickedness in heavenly places. It is for this reason that we put on the whole armor of God, Yahweh God. We put on the helmet of salvation and the breastplate the breastplate of righteousness. We firmly attach the belt of truth around our waist and drench our feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. We take our sword of life spirit, which is the word of life, and the shield of faith with which we will quench all of the fiery darts of the enemy. Thank you for blessing us from the top of our head to the bottom of our feet and everywhere in between with the first, what we need, everything that we deserve, and then the best that you have for our lives, Yahweh
Those
God.
guys are just sitting
In
there going,
Jesus'
"What the
name,
hell?"
amen.
And perfect time to go to break. Hour number 2, uncensored with Ye. Nick Fuentes, I'm your guest host here in Insane Asylum World, because the whole world's crazy. All of us are nuts. This is Twilight Zone 2.0. We will be
Don't
right
just point
back.
at me when you say that.
No, I'm talking about all of us. The whole world's crazy. It is crazy.
Just point at me when you say that.
Everybody's crazy.
Damn, he's
I
touchy.
believe that.
Damn, he's
I'm
touchy.
saying the guest host here because these guys are hosting. We'll be right back with hour number 2. December 2022 is here, and we are proud and very excited to announce
for China.
Any power and
Bad.
and they're trying to make it the new reason that DeSantis should be the 2024 front runner. And I like DeSantis in many ways, but I don't like who he's aligning with, all these big donors, and him playing along with this. It's very troubling. So tell us about the meeting and what really happened there.
Nick, you have the minutes on it.
That's right. So it's where to begin. Well, I want to set the record straight first of all, because there was a big piece in NBC the other day written by Mark Caputo with a lot of lies about the dinner. And
Listen
I don't know
to
if
this.
people were misquoted or if bad quotes were given, but people are being led to believe that this was somehow a setup or an ambush to make the president look bad.
All right, real quick. Trump disavowed that he knew who Fuentes was. Fuentes definitely makes the point over and over again. He says, I love Trump. I love Trump. I love Trump. Fuentes is not stupid. He knows the liberal media is going to run with that. The fact that he did it with Charlottesville riots, they did it with so many other things, the endorsement of the KKK, yada, yada, yada. By Fuentes saying this is a hit job by Milo and Fuentes. I really feel that, or Fuentes is just trying to get close to power. But this right here, when he describes this meeting, folks, when Trump disavowed, no, just you don't know who to believe at this point, but this is where it gets really good.
That's not true. Ye loves Trump. I love Trump. We came to the dinner to have a discussion with him about the 2024 race. Ye had a proposition for him. And so a lot of it was really put together in the last minute. I didn't even really know until I was at Mar-a-Lago whether or not we would be at the dinner. It was something that Ye and I discussed on the flight there and on the car ride over. So I just want to get that cleared up straight away because I think Ye and I both believe that Trump is a great option. It really just comes down to Trump and Ye for the most part.
But them trying to premeditatedly claim it was some secret meeting and he knew he was meeting with you, that's not true.
No, yeah, and it was surprising because we had this conversation the day before we flew out. We were in LA on that Monday, and I was told it may not even be possible for you to get into Mar-a-Lago. They said because there's so many people that will intercept you. There's a guest list and you have to be on it, and there's a security list and all these things. So I was told that I may not even be able to get through. Well, we pulled up to the club. They checked out Ye, they checked out Karen's ID and information. We drove up, we walked in, we sat down in the lobby. The president came out of the dining room, and that was that. He invited Ye to dinner, and I don't know if it was Ye or Trump, but one of them said, well, we want to bring Jamar, Karen, and Nick into the dining room. And so we came in, we sat down. Well, we took some pictures. Ye sort of lit up the whole room. Everybody wanted to get a picture with him. We sat down at the table. And I want to say initially it was a very pleasant dinner. Trump gave kind of the standard black voter pitch. He talked about the HBCUs, the opportunity zones, things like that. And then it turned out that Ye had accidentally sent a text message to a lawyer that both Trump and Ye share. and forwarded him some intel that Karen gave to us about how we were going to handle the
Sure
Trump
he did.
meeting and how to read his body language and the kinds of things that maybe we should avoid or things we might want to say. And so before the dinner, Ye accidentally forwarded that to a lawyer who then in the middle of the dinner apparently called Trump to say, hey, Karen Giorno's involved. This is a setup. You guys are being set up right now. It was really just based on a misunderstanding. And after that call, he...
Who's this lawyer?
Do you mind if I say the name?
Yes.
It's, yes, you mind? Or?
No, I don't.
Okay, it's Nick Gravante. So he was texting
I
me.
don't mind any names. I think that's the general. Just
So-
let him finish the entire story.
So, because we pulled up in the car and Ye said, here, I'll forward you these notes. So he forwarded it to me and I said, hey, I didn't get the text. And we kind of brushed it off and we found out later he meant to send it to Nicholas Fuentes. He sent it to Nicholas Gravante on accident. So the dinner was actually very pleasant. It was very friendly. Ye picked out a song to play. He put on Say You Will off of 808s. And then Trump said, oh, I don't know, let's put on one of your hits. So he put on Stronger. It was very congenial. Well, then in the middle of the dinner, Trump gets this call because Nick Gravante apparently sent the text to...
Hold on real quick. All right, never mind. Let's keep going.
one of Trump's guys or somebody. Somebody called Trump and said Karen is giving Ye intel because Karen worked for Trump. She ran the state of Florida during the Republican primary in 2016. And so he got the heads up. They thought it was some big ambush. So he gets off the phone and the tone totally flipped. And he starts telling Ye these stories about how some of his black constituents had betrayed him. He told the story about how he got ASAP Rocky out of jail. He told the story about how he got the NBA basketball players out of the Chinese jail. And the moral of the story was, if you go against me, if you're disloyal to me, I'll crush you. That was kind of the subtext of the stories from Trump. He said that Kim Kardashian, he said some nasty things about her because she endorsed Joe Biden after Trump released, what is it, Alice
Johnson.
Alice Johnson from prison. He commuted her sentence and then gave her a pardon, so he felt betrayed by that. And then Ye made the proposition and said, hey, I'd like you to be my running mate in 2024. And Trump
I gave him the opportunity. I didn't say I would like him to. I said you have the opportunity.
Right, yes.
To be my running mate in 2024.
Yes. And,
will he wear a mask as well?
So that right there, you went into Mar-a-Lago. You sat down with the president and you said to him, you have the opportunity to be my running mate. This is Donald Trump. Are you out of your mind? The act of doing it, whatever. But the reasoning behind it. Are you stupid? What world do you live in where a man who has already won the presidency and is the face of the GOP, whether you like it or not, and you think you're going to come in here, again, this is Fuentes grifting with Kanye, puppeteering him to get himself even more famous, to get his podcast and all that show more viewership. This is what he's doing. I'm just, wow.
I think it would look cool.
I do think it looks cool.
No, it doesn't look
so
stupid.
He sat back and folded
the
his
emperor
arms.
has no clothes, folks. We're not going to tell him.
He sort of dismissed it, but then he got a little bit heated, and he said, you can't win. You'll never win. Don't run. You can win at a lot of things, but you can't win at this. And then he turned to me and Karen and said, you guys are smart. I know you work for him, but don't lie to him. Tell him he can't win. And, I love Trump. And I love Ye, and so
Notice
I'm
how
looking at
Fuentes
Trump,
didn't answer
and
it,
then I'm
though.
looking at Ye, and I'm looking at Trump, and Ye, he's telling me.
Nick,
But did Nick tell Kanye that? Or did Nick tell Trump that Trump's wrong? Which side did Nick pick? He didn't pick a side. Trump was right. Anybody that thinks that Kanye's got a shot in hell in 2024 is out of their mind. Excuse me. You kidding me? But I love how Nick strategically said, I'm looking at Kanye and I'm looking at Trump. Well, then what did you say, Nick? What did you say? Or is it because you didn't pick a side?
they say you're a white supremacist. Are you a white supremacist?
No, not at all.
Well, spend some time on that.
Yeah, I'm a Catholic. I'm Christian, and so I believe that we.
I know that sounds white supremacist right there, but it's not. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I believe that we're all children of God, and so I think that black, white, red, brown, whatever, we're all siblings in a certain.
I don't believe we're all children of God. You ready for this? You ready for this? I'm going to explain why I don't feel like we're all children of God. We can go into the Bible and talks about where Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. If we are made in the image of God, therefore we have the same emotions of God. To create something, you first have to possess. You first have to know. We are made in God's image. The feelings that we feel, God created. Now, if we are the children of God and we believe in hell, do we believe that hell is eternal? I don't believe hell is eternal. I believe that you are sent to hell for your suffering and then you were just eliminated. You are gone. You are gone. As a father, could you do that to your child? Even Christ said, "Depart from me, workers of iniquity, I never knew you." Serpent seed does exist. It's true. This idea that we are all children of God. God created, yes, because Satan can't create. But we are not all God's children. You're telling me that Satan is God's child? He was one of God's angels that fell from grace. Are you telling me that all these people that are going to go to hell, does that make sense to you? That doesn't make sense to me. There are serpent seed. There are children of Satan. That's just my beliefs there. So when people say like we're all children of, no, we're not. That's why it's called predestination. God knows who is going to believe in him and who will not. The greatest sin is disbelief in God. That is the greatest sin. It's blasphemy, which is also, the same thing. Who created evil then? God did. God allowed it. Does that make God inherently evil? No. God knows what it is. That means Satan can create. I'm talking about, how does that mean Satan can create? I'm talking about children of, okay, when I say, disciples of Satan. Let's put it that way. Disciples, not children of Satan, disciples of Satan. Let me correct my point. Good point there. Disciples of Satan. Only God can create. Satan can't create. Now, Satan can convince. Satan can convince. That's his job. Satan believes in God. That's the crazy thing. That's the crazy thing. Satan believes in God. Satan trembles at the mention of God. Satan's job is to confuse and sow seeds of disbelief. Disbelief. That's his job. So if God, and that's just my beliefs there. And I am never going to force those beliefs on other people. I would never do that. And people can believe differently, and I fully respect y'all's beliefs. That's just me. But when they say we're all children of God, it's like, I don't agree with that. Yeah, Jim Paravati says, God knows exactly what you're going to do before you do it. That's predestination, but that's also God gave us the idea of free will. You can do, like, guys, I can sit here and I can slap my head, and I chose to do that. But God knew I was going to do it. But I still had the freedom because God is omnipotent. He is from the beginning, from the end. Like, think about this for a second now. Like, really try and wrap your mind around it because you can't. And this is how crazy, I shouldn't say crazy. I just mean, this is how just our minds cannot compute the idea of God. I do believe that maybe the Big Bang Theory did happen, but as a result of God allowing it to happen. People say, one or the other. Why not both? Science and religion can go hand in hand. It takes a doctor to set the bone, but it takes God to create the science to heal the bone. That's just my belief alone. That's just my belief there. But if God, everything in our mind has been programmed to see created and destroyed. A human is birthed, and then a human dies. A star is born, a star explodes. But what about God? Who created God? There's no creation. It just is. He says, I am that I am. Your mind can't comprehend that. I can't. I was thinking about that the other day on the bike. I was riding, and I was thinking about God. I was like, who created God? And I know the answer to that. But you have to ask yourself the question because it brings on a sense of realism to it. There was no beginning of God. He just was there. Therefore, the concept that we believe as far as beginning and ending is flawed. It's crazy. Does that make sense to y'all? I can't even comprehend that. There was no creation. He just was. I don't know. What if God was whatever? But you get where I'm going on that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to preach on that. That's just my beliefs on that. Let's go back to the idiot Fuentes.
Sense because we're created by God. I do, though, believe that there are races. There are black people. There are white people. There are
That's
Hispanics. And these differences mean something to people. They mean things to each other. That doesn't mean that we can't get along. That doesn't mean.
So do you think heaven is eternal? Yes. That's a good question. Yeah, I do believe heaven is eternal. But I also think that we'll be in a different dimension where time will have no meaning. Because I know it says in the Bible, God created the earth in like the span of a week. But I know time to God is different than the time to man. 1,000,000 years to man is but a second to God. Yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, to answer your question, Courtney, I do believe that heaven is eternal, yes.
But the left's saying it's bad to even have a culture. They're saying none of us can say I'm this or I'm that.
Right. They want to melt us all down. That's what globalization is. They want to globalize the government, the economy, and the population. They want a global government. They want to globalize the economy through free trade.
With no culture.
Exactly. And the population through immigration. And they want to make it so that in 50, 100 years, there are no distinct nations. There's no distinct peoples.
So nobody can stand up to them.
Right. Just a slave class, undifferentiated. That's what they want.
This is the future president you're talking to right now.
Is Nick your running mate?
He's not old enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick, how old are you?
I'm 24. Maybe in a few cycles.
And Trump loved Nick. He looked at me and said, where did you find
Jim
this?
Prophet on YouTube, are you talking to me? I hope you're not disrespecting me in my stream. Are you talking to me? I hope not, because I've been very respectful in my beliefs. I'm not going to force my beliefs on other people, and I'm certainly not going to disrespect other people's religious convictions or beliefs, or the lack thereof. But I'm certainly not going to disrespect anybody else's beliefs on that, so. That's all I ask for.
This kid, he had no idea until, what's the guy that wrote the speech that you didn't like?
Jason Miller.
Jason Miller lied afterwards after they found out who you were. And what did Jason say in the press to start off? Because it started to be like a series of lie after lie after lie and fake. It wasn't a tweet. It was a truth social after truth social after truth social. So give them the rundown on that.
Yeah, so initially, we didn't publish anything about the dinner. It was rumored that Ye went to dinner with Trump. Then it was rumored that I was at the dinner because I was.
He says we didn't publish anything about the dinner. That doesn't necessarily mean that you can't feed information for other people and let them publish it on your behalf. That's a very disingenuous statement there.
Walked through the airport in Miami. Then there was a statement from Jason Miller, who spoke as a representative for Trump, and he said, well, Nick Fuentes was not at the dinner. And it was only at that point, which was a lie, it was only at that point when we began to respond, and Ye said, he can't say that. Nick was at the dinner. That was a lie.
But, I mean, I actually like the speeches that Jason Miller wrote. He was just scared.
Who was scared? Trump?
No, I mean, I think Miller thinking it was a setup, but I think that's what they thought. They thought, oh, this is a setup, and I think that's where that fear came from.
But people got to stop lying. Our leaders, our politicians have to stop being afraid and being so political, and we have to put Christ first. And if anything comes from this, like the best thing that could come from this is I'm the president of the United States in 2024. The worst.
I'm sorry. Pardon me. I'm going to put this way about the religious beliefs, guys. Believe what you want to believe. If it's that important to you, believe. I don't care, man. Believe in or not. It's completely up to you. I feel like if it's what gives you closure, or if it's what helps you sleep at night, just don't try and force that belief on other people. That's all I'm saying. So if somebody asks my opinion on a religious subject, I will gladly give it. I'm not going to debate it in the sense of like I'm going to prove myself, because I don't feel like any religion can be proven, because it's all faith-based. Without faith, then what need have you of religion? But those are just my beliefs. So if people ask, that's the answers that I'm going to give to them. So it's not me trying to force that opinion. Hey, babe, trying to force that opinion on anybody, or trying to say you have to see it my way. That's just what I believe. And that's the extent of it. So if somebody else wants to disagree, then hey, I respect your opinion. I respect your decision not to. That's completely up to you. I'm not going to talk down about it. I'm going to say, yeah, I don't agree with it, but I'm not going to also treat you like a subclass human either. So, all right, let's move on back to the interview, because Kanye gets really more in depth here. Yeah, it's crazy.
First thing that could come from this is our leaders are held to Christian values, not Zionist values. Now, let's talk about the difference of Trump's Truth Socials.
Yeah, so he put out 3 successive posts. There's 3 responses from Trump on Truth Social, and they just get more sort of erratic as the pressure grows. You know, the first one, he says, it was a very uneventful dinner. I did meet with Ye. The next post was, I don't know who Nick Fuentes was, and it was totally uneventful. The third one, he says, Ye, a very troubled man who happens to be black, came for badly needed advice. And so it just kept getting more and more sort of angry and erratic. And I think what Ye's getting at, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but Trump is surrounded by handlers. He's surrounded by people like Jared Kushner and Jason Miller. He's got 3 campaign managers.
Jared Kushner bailed because he got what he wanted out of Trump, right? What did Jared do when Trump was in office?
He got the Abraham Accords. Jared Kushner with his best friend Bibi Netanyahu at 666 Fifth Avenue. They brokered the Abraham Accords, which opened up investment from the Gulf states into Israel.
What did Netanyahu have to say about it exactly?
Netanyahu loves it, of course, because this.
But let's expand on that.
I love Jerry. Hey, this is Ned. Okay.
No, keep going. My point is that it's fair though for Trump.
All right, Jim Prophet, I've tolerated it enough. Now you're starting to insult people through passive-aggressive means. Just drop it, dude. Just drop it. You don't have to go down this road. We don't have to fight over religion. It's a very foolish thing to do. Doesn't make you any stupider, doesn't make you any smarter. But when you want to sit there and say that, well, I'm the only one who believes in everybody else that doesn't believe is an idiot, now you're fucking tearing people against you. You see, there's a difference in tolerance of thought and acceptance of a difference of opinion versus somebody that wants to like passively aggressive insult other people that don't see it their way. You're kind of creating a problem here. So we could just drop this and move on. You believe what you want and I'll believe what I want and we're cool. That's it. But if you keep pushing it, you're gone, dude. That's all there is to it. I'm trying to make peace with you, dude. That's all I'm trying to do.
That is a political attack to claim that he endorses or represents even the views they claim you hold that you don't hold. So clearly, you can see how the media is using you guys as an attack on Trump.
They're using us to try to put this guy we've never heard of, DeSantis,
people know who DeSantis is.
In office. Like, DeSantis is going to play by the book. The thing about Trump is...
No, hold on. DeSantis is going to play by the book. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? DeSantis is going to play by the book. DeSantis is not played by the... DeSantis took on Disney. DeSantis outlawed so much shit in that state that was anti-freedom, that was unconstitutional. Again, when Kanye makes these statements, he doesn't understand exactly what it is that he's saying. He doesn't understand or realize the powerhouse that is DeSantis. All right, Jim Prophet, you're banned. Gave you a chance. Adios. I'm not even gonna tolerate you, dude. Bye. But no, this just proves that Kanye is so out of the loop on the political spectrum, he doesn't get it. DeSantis, I'll put it this way. You know how DeSantis is a major player right now? Because Trump is acknowledging him. Trump is acknowledging him. Trump is trying to discredit DeSantis. He's already firing political shots across DeSantis' bow, and he's warning DeSantis. That means DeSantis is a threat in Trump's eyes. Does that make sense? So when Kanye says that, and I know that's a matter of opinion, but Kanye also doesn't know Trump. Senator Chat, thank you for the $20 dono, man. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Thanks for the donation. Guys, also, if you want to support the show, you can go do so over on Locals. Locals, basically, we have 379 people over there. You don't have to pay. You can still join the community and see what I post and things like that. But if you want to support us and be subscribers, you can do that on Locals. And I'm working with them. Rumble owns Locals. They're really cool people. So I appreciate everybody wanting to do that. And the Locals thing is on the Rumble page. You can click that link and join. All right, let's continue with the interview here.
Is one of the best presidents we have. He's top 5 presidents. He's right there with Ronald Reagan. And he was a Wharton grad. He's one of the best businessmen of all time. And the entire time he was the president, the Jewish media attacked him. They were mad because he was actually working for the country. And now they're doing everything, including this meeting, to try to say
Kanye
he's
doesn't
not allowed
realize
to
he
meet
was-
with.
he got
This is
played.
InfoWars. Who are you to say who the president can meet with, Netanyahu? Like, I'm not gonna, the Holy Spirit fills me up, and the less sin I have, the less angry I get, you know? So you can't make me angry, but if I was another version of Ye, the Kanye West that you guys know, I would be angry at Netan for even speaking on one of the best presidents, one of our best presidents of all times. Shut the bless up, Netan. This is from Ye. Now you know who I am. Do you know who I am now, Netanyahu? You know who I am now, Jared Kushner? You know who I am, Josh Kushner? Let me tell you something about Softy Josh, right? Marshmallow Josh was at a dinner. I'm at Jared's house, Jared and Ivanka's house. And I didn't realize at the dinner that Josh Kushner had 10% of Skims, which was my ex-wife clothing line, which I have 5% of. And it's one of the reasons why even after the attack where Ari Emanuel had all of my deals destroyed, I was still worth $400 million, right? And still had $250 million of cash available, right? So, Josh, I say, what do you think about Jared working for me in 2024? And Josh looks at Jared and says, oh, I would kill him. And so then towards the end of the meeting, I'm leaving their apartment. They do it like a soft hug because I think like Jared, as soft as Jared is, he has to hug Josh extra soft so, you know, he doesn't melt like toilet paper. And what I realized afterwards that Josh had 10% of a line that I only had 5%, double, where I, you know, Skims is an extension of Yeezy. It's an extension of my brand. Literally, I put the creative director from Yeezy at Skims because at first Skims was a lingerie line. And then it was Kris Jenner's idea to make it a shapewear line. And I said,
Yeah, Cody, I didn't ban him because he had a difference of opinion when it came to religion. Everybody in this chat can attest to that. And by the way, Rumble, I am talking to the YouTube chat. No, it's because he started passively aggressive, insulting other people that didn't believe it according to his beliefs. It'd be like me sitting here saying, like, if you don't believe in Christ, well, you know, it must suck to be that stupid, so blah, blah, blah. Now, I would probably say that in like a joking manner. I'm not serious about that. And I don't do that. I can disagree. I don't agree with Islam. I don't agree with Judaism. I don't agree with Catholicism, but I agree with my own, or I have my own beliefs. But I'm certainly not going to, you know, do what he was doing. So that's the reason he's no longer here. And chat, you can attest, I asked him to stop. I asked nicely. I tried to make peace with him. And then he refused, and he kept going, and I banned him. So
I have the perfect person. Let's take these elements of Yeezy and let's put this here. And then Josh goes in and puts $150 million from some investment firm to then control something that my ex-wife was making for our children.
No, I get it. So you're at this meeting and literally realizing, oh my God, I own this and ran this. This guy's double what I get. You didn't even know he was the owner.
Yeah, and that's what I explained to Jared. I was on text with Jared. I said, what if I had 10% of a line with Ivanka and you didn't know and you only had 5%? I'm sure you...
But what if he learned you own 10% of 666 Park Avenue? He'd be pissed.
Or what if I had 10% of that 800... how big was the deal that he did after he got out of...
So what you're saying is we need
No, what you're saying is you clearly don't know who you're going into business with. I mean, okay, hold on a second now. If I'm going to invest into a business, if I'm going to give the business my face or my brand, I'm going to want to know who I'm going into business with. I'm going to want to know who my partners are. And if somebody says you have silent partners, that could change things a little bit. But if it's going to be my name, my face primarily on it, then I want names of who I'm going to partner with. So you set the conditions of that, especially if you're the power man in the room. So I'm kind of like, wait, what? You didn't know? I mean, if you're going to buy into something, you should probably know who your partners are. I've made that mistake.
Reparations from Hollywood. We need the Hollywood elite that have almost all the money. They need reparations to America.
Wait, I want to talk about how Jared did that first deal.
You hear what I'm saying?
With Netin.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he got billions. And this is something that was covered in the Wall Street Journal. Jared Kushner brokered the Abraham Accords with Netanyahu. And before Trump was even out of office, they were arranging for how Kushner could take a massive fee from...
Okay, but separate from Kushner getting money, I don't like Kushner. He glows in the dark. He's creepy as hell. But I mean, that's a good peace deal to get the Arabs and Jews to quit killing each other. I mean,
I agree with you to some extent, but don't...
I mean, actually, that's a pretty... I said that's something good Kushner did. I mean, I don't like Kushner, but
He did it for the money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we got things... yeah.
And I would say...
I'm not defending him. I'm saying, isn't it good to try to get Middle East peace?
Let's ask Nick.
Yeah, Nick, go ahead.
If you want Middle East peace, you have to go to Israel, because Israel is the one who has been bombing Syria. Israel's the one that's...
And they got 200 nuclear weapons. They ain't going nowhere.
Exactly, and that's why they killed JFK and RFK, was because of they were trying to get their WMD program off the ground. Operation Apollo, it was Jack Kennedy that wanted IAEA inspectors looking into it.
No, and that is probably one of the main... That's one of the reasons Kennedy got killed. That was
what we need to say right now, and we're going to bring Ali on in a second, is both my parents were educators, right? And we're here as the educators. That's what's in our heart. When we get the information, we put ourselves at risk to give you the information. There's a lot of teachers, incredibly intelligent people that have been canceled and kicked out of universities for not playing along with the system. So stop looking at us like celebrities, like we're trying to get media. We're using our position, putting our finances, putting our personal well-being at risk to say the truth out loud. And I was on the plane with Nick and I said, it feels like we're in Vietnam in the middle of the war with our backs to the wall, holding our guns and saying, you know, Nick, how did you get here? Yay, how did you get here? Well, all the guns are going off and all the media is going off, and say, this is InfoWars, right? So you got some info warriors on both sides of you, and you fought for us. You've been fighting this battle for a long time, Alex, and we just got to salute you as a Christian and as American, because you paved the way to make braver soldiers like us today. It's like Terminator Part 10 happening right now.
Wow. All right. We got to go to break. We're going to get Laura Loomer on. We're going to get Ali Alexander. I'm demanding come on. He's one of the smartest guys I know in politics. And we're going to just continue. Owen Schroyer is going to come on. We're going to continue on as long as you guys want to go. We'll take breaks and stuff too, and get, you know, Ye to eat something or whatever. Me and Nick got something he hasn't eaten yet, and we're just...
I stay fasting.
That's right, he won't eat. I'm trying to get him to eat. So I'm like Italian, manja. So we're gonna... I gotta
watch my accounts because they've been frozen by the Jewish banks. So I need to watch my meals.
Well, CNN says white people are evil Nazis, so... I mean, I disagree with both statements, but I get the pros.
I don't like the word evil next to Nazis. I think we need to look at...
Okay, I'm going to back this up. This is the part that destroys ye. This is the part that destroys ye. You cannot, in any context, in any stretch of the imagination, no matter how you phrase this, no matter how you try and twist this, like Yeezy makes this statement, no matter how you try and turn it, you cannot defend this. This is why Yee is a fucking idiot. Listen to what he says right here.
So I need to watch my meals.
Well, CNN says white people are evil Nazis, so... I mean, I disagree with both
Listen
statements,
close.
but I get the pros.
I don't like the word evil next to Nazis. I think we need to look at...
Alex Jones laughs nervously.
Just because you don't like one group doesn't mean the other. But look,
listen.
I love Jewish people, but
listen.
I also love Nazis.
Oh, man. Well, I have to disagree with that.
And that's when Alex Jones knows this thing just circled the drain and flushed. How can you sit there and say that I love Jewish people and then turn around and say I love Nazis, who were primarily responsible for murdering the Jewish people in World War II? And look how Alex Jones is so nervously laughing, because here's the reason why. He doesn't have the balls to tell ye no. He does not have the balls to stand there and say, no. There's something wrong with you. If you think, number one, you said, stop associating evil with Nazis. And then he says, I love Nazis. Can anybody in any way, shape, or form try and twist that into a way that's like actually like, so for example, when Kanye says, you know, Nazis did some good things, you can say yes to that. The invention of the V-2 rocket, the Autobahn, various different technological advancements were made under the Third Reich for the basic means of world domination. The jet engine, I believe, as they created, Josh made up he looked up someone for the helicopter. I didn't know that. The genetic experiments they did on Jewish people, it's insane. So when you sit here and you say, stop associating the word evil with Nazis, and then you say, I love Nazis, dude, you're done. You are done. Yes, you are an anti-Semite. You are. Because when you think of Nazism, instantly, to juxtapose Nazism, you think Judaism. Like, what the fuck? Man, just watch. I want to back that up one more time. Watch how Alex Jones is just like, oh, bro, that's classic.
Goodness. Just because you don't like one group doesn't mean the other. But look,
I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis.
That's the most nervous nap.
I have to disagree with that. Hey, but listen, we're gonna go to break. I'm the crazy one here. We're all crazy. The whole world's crazy, and the whole power structure's coming
Nick
down.
Fuentes is loving
this. This is absolutely lit. This is lit. Number one show in the world right now. Everybody's tuned in everywhere. Yay. Everybody, I appreciate you being here. We're going to go to break. We're going to come back and play that my favorite promo with Ye, and then we're going to air the Trudeau clip, and then go right back to Ye. Stay with us.
Jesus.
Ye is in studio. I'm Alex Jones, your host. Nick Fuentes, Ali Alexander, Owen Schroyer are about to join us riding shotgun. Ye doesn't want to wear an earpiece, so he's going to call Laura Loomer. Yeah, so we're going to put Laura Loomer on the way. She was originally going to be on earlier. Ye, you're hosting the show. Go ahead.
Laura, can you guys hear Laura on the mic?
What they're doing is they're talking to her out there. I told them 45 minutes ago.
Laura,
so
can we hear you on the mic?
Tell her you're going to call her. They didn't do that because it's such a party.
I can hear you.
Can you guys hear her? Laura, say something.
She's not going to
Laura
do it.
Loomer.
Yeah, Laura, you're on the air. Go ahead.
How's it going?
You're on the air with Ye. Go ahead. He wants to do it over a speakerphone. Go ahead.
Well, look, I just wanted to call in. You know, I see that everybody on this stream has been canceled in some fashion, and you know, I've also been canceled, and you know, I have a unique perspective because you know, I'm Jewish, and I happen to be one of the most banned and censored people in this country, and so you know, I just wanted to talk about cancel culture and you know, the act of debanking and deplatforming from my perspective, because, you know, I was really one of the first people that experienced all of this cancel culture. And I would just say that, you know, I can sympathize with anybody who's had their voice silenced. I don't think that censorship is the answer, no matter how much you disagree with another person or how offensive you may find their statements or their arguments to be. And what we need in this country is more free speech. And I say that, you know, as a Jewish American woman watching this stream and, you know, watching the plague of cancel culture that has really swept not just our country, but the entire world over these last few years. And I will say that being Jewish has never saved me from being canceled. It never stopped the banks from shutting down my access to my bank account. Being Jewish never you know, prevented me from becoming, like I said, the most banned woman in the world.
Proving
so
Kanye
I just wanted
wrong.
to make it clear that, you know, while, you know, there's no disputing the fact that groups like the ADL and AIPAC and, you know, powerful, you know, left-wing Jewish individuals and in some cases right-wing Jewish individuals themselves are advocating for cancel culture. There are Jews themselves who have also been canceled.
Yeah, you shouldn't be penalized for what other people have done. Martin Luther King said that, and I agree with it.
So
yeah, you called yourself more like Martin Luther King the other day than Malcolm X. I tend to agree with that. I like Malcolm X. I've read his writings, listened to him, incredibly smart intellectual. He was downtrodden. He was telling people to stand up. He was an amazing revolutionary for his time, an amazing man. But I think Martin Luther King was more powerful, and even Malcolm came around to his worldview of thinking. So my issue is, it's the same thing we're talking about here, is that you Laura Loomer has been censored. Laura Loomer has been attacked. And Israel has the most draconian COVID shots against their population of any group. So I'm saying, why aren't they exempt? Because there's a criminal group posing as them. Christ talked about this. That is trying to manipulate and pose as the leadership of every group. There's groups that claim they lead the black folks that aren't caring about blacks. There's groups that claim they care about white people that aren't really caring. There's groups that claim they're Jewish that don't. I think that's really what we're talking about. Do you disagree?
I agree. And as I talk about, I think about it, it's like, I gotta say, I love the Zionists. I love the people that blocked my bank account, because God runs the world and uses everyone. There's a power structure under God that starts with the 1,000-year-old families such as the Medicis. Then it goes to the Vatican, which is in bloodline to Peter, not Paul. Then it goes to the financial groups, BlackRock, Vanguard, and then to the governments, where we can go into Putin territory. And then it goes to Hollywood, the Rahm Emanuels. That is the first smokescreen to get past. And we're just breaking down those smoke screens. Hey, Ari, how you doing, Ari?
Hey, I want to jump in really quick, and I will say.
Yeah, Laura, you're on the air.
Go ahead.
The blacklisting of, people like Ye, people like Alex Jones, people like Nick Fuentes, people like myself. Everybody watching should understand we're living in a dangerous time now where people are being shut down and having their money frozen. Okay, imagine not being able to access your bank account because somebody in a boardroom decides that they don't agree with what you're saying. And so, for people who are critical, of Ye, Nick, Alex, myself, or whoever, right? Just think of how fast the tables could turn. And I think this is what you've been talking about for years, Alex. You've been warning people about what's coming for years. And now people want to act like, oh, well, how did we get to this point? Censorship is the reason why we've got to this point. Okay, so, these things wouldn't be happening if people weren't being censored.
Well, sure, Laura, can I ask you this question? Because, you're a smart, successful, pro-America Jewish lady it's an American that lives in Florida. From my experience studying what goes on in politics, aren't Jews like everybody else, like left-wing, right-wing, and different factions fighting with each other and everybody else like any other group? I mean, I understand there's powerful groups in Hollywood and all these mafias, but it's like we don't blame Italians for the Italian mafia. And when I criticize the Jewish mafia, which is one of the most powerful in the world, which I don't like, I don't dislike because they happen to be Jewish, I happen because they're a mafia. That's really how I think we destigmatize it, and just say no to the mafia that is the ADL in Hollywood. Or do you disagree with that, or agree, or you want to say something?
No, look, there's factions within any group, but right? I don't think that you can really generalize any group. I think that when you look at the demographics of Jews in America, over 70% of Jews vote Democrat.
I blame the Italians for Olive Garden.
A lot of people making decisions who happen to be Jewish, it's coming from a left-wing perspective. But I'm a nationalist. I'm a nationalist, and I'm Jewish, and I've been a very strong supporter of President Trump.
And that's the question. Why were they so scared of you? Because you've been as much banned as me or even more. I mean, they have come after you. Why are they scared of Laura Loomer?
Because I'm a free speech absolutist, and regardless of what somebody may say, even whatever they may say about Jews or whatever they may have to say about Israel or Judaism, I'm not going to advocate for anybody to be silenced, anybody to be banned, or anybody to have their accounts shut down or their money frozen simply because of their viewpoints. This is America, and we need to promote free speech absolutism, and we need our politicians to start promoting free speech absolutism. And this is what I ran when I ran for Congress twice in Florida, the first time in Trump's home district, which was actually the most Jewish district in the country, and then most recently in District 11, I ran on a campaign of free speech absolutism.
No, I know you do. So what about a First Amendment or a Bill of Rights party? That could transcend party lines. What about a free speech, pro to self-defense, a First Amendment, Second Amendment party? I mean, how do we fix this, Ye?
We fix this with the word of Christ. The first book of Moses called Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was on the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the waters. That's where we start.
And they know that. That's why Prometheus shows that All right, Laura, thank you so much. Thank you. Closing comments or yay? I want to move on to
Laura,
Ollie and
thank
folks.
you very much for calling and talk later. Thanks a lot.
All right, so good. That's good.
I'll be
Great.
in
Nick,
Florida.
yeah, see you in Florida. You want to say something before we go to Ollie, Alexander, and Owen?
Yeah, I want to jump in and say that I agree. I think, though, that it's not so much about the Bill of Rights. I think it's really more about Christianity. I think that what America needs is a Christian party.
Oh, I agree. Politically, it's about our freedoms, but you're right. Christ is first.
Right, and it gets to the nature of Judaism, which is the fact that Jews do not believe that Christ was the Son of God. And in fact, they're the only group that hate Jesus. Muslims see Jesus as a prophet. Buddhists, Hindus see Jesus as a spiritual figure. Jews write in their Talmud that Christ is burning in hell. They don't like the cross.
Well, I think that's because he's kind of was taking over the thing. So at the end of the day, we worship a Jew, or we say he's not really a Jew.
It's not the same thing, though, because the kind of Judaism that we have now is not of the...
Wait. I thought Jews also believed that Christ was a prophet, but he wasn't the prophet. He wasn't the Messiah. What is this guy talking about? I feel like Nick Fuentes is very ill-informed on this topic. I remember that specifically. It was like Christ was he was real, maybe not a prophet. He existed, but he wasn't the Messiah. Do we have any actual practicing Jews in the chat? Is anybody a practicing Jew that can confirm? I'm just curious. Chomp Destin says you better watch out what you say about that book because they'll ban you in this room if you disagree. What book? The Talmud? Are there any practicing Jews that isn't in the Talmud? I'm pretty sure. I need to look. I don't know anything about Judaic law or Judaism whatsoever. But I don't think they actually have that written in there. He literally said Christianity is more important than the Bill of Rights. Well, yeah, I can see that though. Like my religion, my walk with God is way more important than the Bill of Rights. But that's also not saying that the Bill of Rights isn't important. Does that make sense? I don't think that the laws of Christ should be forced on other people, but I think the Bill of Rights should, that you should have those inalienable rights, yeah. And wait, what's the Talmud? I thought it was the Torah. I'm not even going. I don't know anything about Judaism, so a lot of the stuff just doesn't sound right to me. But let's keep going.
The Old Testament, it's of the rabbinical oral tradition. So these people are worshiping.
They're not following the Old Testament; they're following the Zohar and the Talmud and all that.
That's right, exactly.
People should read that for themselves. What about Haile Selassie? Because this is what happened to Kyrie Irving, and it made me really mad. Because when I was a kid growing up reading comic books and stuff, I could read really early. When I was like 5, I could read like a 10-year-old. When I was 10, I could read like a college student. And so I put down comic books when I was about 8 because my mom had all these history books, and some of them were picture history books. Then I started reading those. And it's like a fact that Solomon married a bunch of black women. It's a fact that Ethiopia was Jewish. It's a fact that North Africa was Jewish. It's a fact that went on. And that Kyrie...
Why are you saying Nick is wrong when you're clueless? Because it doesn't sound right whatsoever. Do you know? Wendy's Angels? Do you know? Because if you don't, then point that finger right back at yourself. Do you know? Never. I had Pew Pew Jew on the other day. What are you talking about? That's weird to me.
Kyrie Irving puts out a video explaining that a bunch of North African blacks are intermarried and part Jewish, and Israel lets a bunch of blacks in because they can prove that their lineage, their names are Jewish names. So how is it anti-Semitic, and how does the ADL say it's anti-Semitic for black people who are related directly to King Solomon and King David, the line of Judah, which Haile Selassie was the leader of Ethiopia? That's where this whole movement comes from. To act like they don't know this, I'm not blaming Jews for this, I'm blaming the leftist ADL. To deny black Jews their heritage is a historic fraud. It's a damn historic fact. It's on Wikipedia. It's not even debated.
Did you just quote Wikipedia?
Sure, but it's not just the leftists.
I'm
It's
not
the
saying he's
right-wing
wrong,
ones
but
too. You know, because in Israel,
Wikipedia,
Ye was just
really,
showing
bro?
me a clip the other day where they are racist towards the Sudanese or Ethiopian black Jews that immigrate into Israel. They kick them out. There's quotas.
Well, I mean, Israel's even mean to the Hasidic Jews now. I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're waging war.
Right. So, and I agree with you. And what they've done to Kyrie Irving is just
Take
disgusting.
Dr. Zelenko, beautiful person, wonderful guy. He'll tell you, he goes, yeah, what runs Israel's evil, and so is your groups.
Ben Shapiro just mad that Kyrie won't sign his basketball. Back to you, Nick.
But what about that issue? I'm sure you know about Haile Selassie and Kyrie Irving. Your take on Kyrie?
That's my brother. And I love the fact that just like now, it felt like you were in this battle by yourself, but now you got two warriors alongside of you like gargoyles at the top of the buildings in New York, ready to fight for Christ. And when Kyrie put up that information, they always want to write me off and say, Ye is just so crazy, so crazy, so crazy. And then Kyrie was like, okay, here goes some information right here. Information is the unlock. There's 5 elements that the 1%, the elites, use to control the 99%, which are the masses. Those elements are water, food, shelter, medicine, and education. Which one of those 5 elements are the most important? Education, because with the knowledge, you can go get water, you can go get food, you can get shelter, and you can get medication.
They don't want independence.
I agree. And Kyrie fought for something. And then also, you know, for me, Kyrie, I love Kyrie. He did what his job was. They had the Hebrew Israelites in front of the game, and now the high schools. I always think about the high schools. I always think about the future, the grammar schools, the high schools.
Chomp Destin says, no, he was a false prophet who got killed for claiming he was the king of the Jews. You should read your Bible again, John. Who the fuck are you talking to, and who the fuck are you talking about? You read your Bible again. Burning and gnashing of teeth sounds like a good old time. What are you talking about, dude? I get it, sir. Whatever religion fills your pocketbooks makes those less than you blow. Should have jumped on this Christianity. Okay, dude, you're gone. Bye. I'm not tolerating the disrespect. You're out. I don't give a fuck, dude. I don't give a fuck. I've been respectful to other people's beliefs here, but when you want to try and play some shit like that, no. Adios.
Schools. These are the people that are going to change our lives. So the high schools are asking questions. People are running around saying, oh, Ye's racist. What is the term racism was created in, I think, the construct of racism was created.
The communist Russians.
Yeah. And it's like the whole woke culture, the idea of the white man did this, the Jewish guy did this. Now I'm saying specifically the bankers. I think my misstep in the tweet was to pinpoint a people as opposed to pinpointing the devil and the fact that the devil used to have that. But more than that, it was my disobedience to God that forced me into the whale's stomach as I am right now. But it's only my obedience to God that's going to bring me out of the whale's stomach.
Well, let's elaborate. You're not walking back what you said. You are clarifying it, which is key. It's evil in the hearts of men and women that's a problem. And so you're not walking it back. You're clarifying. This is big.
Let's clarify. Satan, the angel, God's, one of his favorite angels, one of the most powerful angels.
The most powerful.
Yeah, Satan, that's what I like, the most powerful angel, Satan. And he brought angels with him when he left heaven, right? How many angels did Satan bring with him?
33% of them. So he brought billions of angels with him.
So angels, Satan has 33% of God's warriors with him, working for Satan. But God runs the world. And it's Satan that gets inside of the Zionists and makes them do evil things. But these are stories, because I'm a baby Christian, right? But I heard that, you know, God loves me so much. He loves me so much, right? Then I go to Drink Champs and I'm drinking. And the Bible says, king don't drink, right? I know it's not Milo. I know I'm not saying it in correct, perfect English. But the Bible says king don't drink. And I'm drinking. and I'm smoking, and I'm using my ego because I'm tired of these like fed.
You're like, I'm lit.
Let me say, I'm tired of these fed celebrities trying to pick on me, thinking that they gangster. We not in high school, Meek Mills. We not in high school, Puff Daddy. And everyone thinks that they're so much more gangster, like they got me in some way. Ain't none of y'all more gangster than God, and God got me. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying that.
Oh no, everybody posing acting tough is nothing. If you talk about rebel black sheep, I mean, you're definitely it, buddy.
Yeah, y'all not tough to me, but I'm drinking, and then I start saying stuff that doesn't please God, right? And it wasn't the Zionists, it wasn't the banks, it's God set me back. But the fact that I still had 400 million and Forbes couldn't get around it, it showed God loves me, but he had to set me back a little.
Well, it's a Jobian proverb. You're going through a Jobian trial.
Yeah, because since I lost my wife.
Job lost everything. Literally everything. This guy still has millions. He is not homeless. I'm sorry. When you use these references so out of context, I can't even take you. This is why I can't take someone like Alex Jones seriously. He is such a oh my God. All right, guys, we have to pause it here. I'm going to go on Rob Noah's podcast here soon. I think it's over on Twitch. Won't be streaming it here, but if you want to tune into Rob, really intelligent dude, very good guy. Love Rob to death. So anyway, appreciate you tuning in. I'll probably stream this again tomorrow after work. I'm sorry. And yeah, appreciate y'all's love and support, man. You guys are freaking great. And yeah, I will talk to y'all later. This has been very interesting.